Hi, everyone, and welcome to the 15th episode of the most aptly named show on all of YouTube, Technical Difficulties. Let's bring in the crew. Here's Ford Helix, MSG. How are you both doing tonight?
What's up, nerds?
Hey.
Here we go. So,
Hi, y'all. Yeah,
just the three of us.
You do look different than last time.
Yeah, I lost a little bit of weight here. But it's coming back. It's growing back.
So there's no cat documentary on in the background, MSG? What's going on?
I watch. It is a few episodes. No, it is kind of a mini series about a cat killer. The wife was watching that, and I guess I don't really like the idea that she's watched a few of those documentaries. That it's basically like a Facebook type of research or investigation, which is like people at home just going on a Facebook group and just bullying people online until they feel good about themselves.
And it's top-notch journalism.
Top-notch journalism, yeah. These Facebook things, I don't really like it. What did we watch this week? That was weird. I forgot. I just watched a Forensic Files episode. I've been watching those at night. The one today was a doctor had an affair with a nurse. When the nurse tries to leave him, injects her with AIDS and hepatitis B. He grabs blood from two of his grabs blood from two patients, mix it up, goes to see her and injects her. It's just bizarre.
Wow.
I think I'm gonna miss that one. No thanks. I'm good.
The Forensic Files things, and it's crazy because obviously all those are like they happened in 1994. Like those are not fiction.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah.
But besides me watching Netflix, what is this week? I've been putting planters for the wife. These are just thinking about this model.
Let me see if I can figure out how to make you big. I don't know how to do that yet. Hold on.
It looks like crumbling buildings.
There he is.
Okay. Right. Exactly. That's the idea. It pretends to be sort of a castle, and you imagine that they made the castle out of bricks like a few centuries. Then at some point gets covered with like plaster or whatever, then gets abandoned again, and then the plaster falls, and so you see this little exposed brick. I think that's what they were going for these planters. Did that one? This is the roll that I make all the accents on the MSG are made with this yellow green color, which is kind of a matte thing from Spider Maker, I believe, Spider something. And then my wife just bought this one on Amazon. She was browsing. It's like, I don't know if you can appreciate. It's supposed to be like a marble finish.
That looks really good, though.
Yeah, you can see like the little flecks and stuff. It's cool.
And then the first one I printed, which is it actually has a plant already. It's this guy.
Wow, I like that one.
This one on PETG. So this one is on PETG, so I'm less concerned with leaks and issues. The other two are PLA. The first one I just print normal. Then I researched that even though it doesn't have leaks, like I filled a little thing with water for like a day and it seemed to be fine. From what I read, obviously those are just random forums online, so grain of salt, that if you have water on PLA sitting for a while, it will actually soften it, and so you may have leaks. So the second one I printed with 100% infill. It's heavier. It only had a couple more hours because there is so much detail that it is doing perimeters all the time anyway. So from so many perimeters to 100% infill is not a big difference, but it should help if water softens it. As soon as it softens the top layer, it will go through the infill with 100% infill. Maybe last longer, but we'll see. We'll find out. How long these things last. So I've been doing that.
I wonder if you were to take like that, what is that spray plastic flex seal or whatever, like if you were to like spray that inside of it, if that would effectively waterproof it for you.
If I was asking on the chat for what do people waterproof these things with, and the consensus seems to be like wax or silicone maybe.
Okay.
the one that actually had issues, I'll be back in a second.
Well, anyway, in the meantime, what's new with you, Mr. Helix?
Same old. Still haven't. That giant metal case that I'm going to turn into Ein's Cyberdeck is still sitting in the back of my car because I don't have any components to put inside of it. But I have been doing a lot of blacksmithing, which is a lot of fun.
That's cool.
Yeah, and I'm trying to think, like, is there something that I could make at, a hammer and anvil with my clunky, non-dexterous meat hooks that would look cool in a deck? Anyway, back to you, MSG.
So we did this thing to water the plants, and it works pretty well. And actually, it's pretty neat that because of the shape of the spout, when you put it, it kind of comes a clean kind of a stream out. The thing the guy did that doesn't make any sense is he branded the thing at the bottom. But what all this branding does is basically create, especially the G, it just leaks because you are having a lot of kind of a small bridging, and then it doesn't seal nearly as well. So that is the one that I was asking on the Discord channel about ideas to waterproof that, because if I can, instead of reprinting it, I could add a little bit of either spray, silicone, wax. So I may try to do something like that. If not,
or even just like a little bit of epoxy. If you like set that down on a paper plate of epoxy, it'll be waterproof.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, any of those. So yeah, maybe why don't we have people put a couple links on the YouTube and I'll use them myself. I'll buy it, and maybe in a week or two I'll show it with it.
That'd be cool.
I would give that Flex Seal stuff a try. Is that Phil guy on the commercial? He made a boat out of like mesh screen. So I mean, it works for waterproofing.
Put the links on the YouTube, and I'll buy them and I'll try. And, if what could happen is 2 weeks from now, I'll just log into the Infusion, flatten that. Like I don't have anything against him branding a stuff. I wouldn't mind if he just put the thing here. Putting it on the bottom makes it way less functional because just stress is a stress point for the water.
And you said the planters themselves, like the crumbling structures, are those also going to be leaky? Have you tested whether or not they'll retain water?
Yeah. So this one I printed earlier this week. I put water here, and it was there for maybe 30 hours, day and a half. Put a paper towel, completely dry. So that one was good. This one I just finished printed this morning, so I haven't tested. I don't expect it to fail. My concern is that this guy and the blue one are PETG, which my understanding is if it's not leaky on the first 20 minutes to an hour, it'll just stay that way. Basically, either it has a hole or doesn't. My understanding from what I read on PLA is that I didn't have a leak within the first day, but PLA holding water eventually will dissolve it. So I don't know if that means that it's going to leak after like a couple months.
I was just thinking, like, if you get moss, like real moss growing on that, and then it actually looks like it's an overgrown ruin or something like that, that could look really cool.
That's so. When I saw it, I have a soft spot for modes. So I was like, why don't you make it a mode, and maybe with like some lily pad or some, not even if it's more of a fern, but that looks like a lily pad, because obviously it will be looking like lily pad with round things, but it cannot be a real lily pad. That'll be stupid here. And she wasn't too sure about the lily pad idea, and she has been trying to convince me that putting there some moss will look cool. And so we may go that route. We'll put some moss, and also the coloring. I feel this one. Green things look pretty good. I'm not gonna. Chances are there will be an action eventually. I feel that this one, the marble with the green, looks pretty good. So maybe moss there. That one, I was less sure that it looks good on the green. So maybe try to find some plain with some slightly different color. We'll see.
That blue one with the plant in it. Did you do that in vase mode, or is that have a thickness to it, or?
It has thickness to it. Yeah, I just print. I print. What did I do on that one? That one, the thing that the guy I have it there. And I already threw it. So the bottom is flat now. In the original version, the guy put a lip at the bottom, having basically at the edge there was a lip. It had a lip, which means you print that upside down. And then the whole bottom is kind of a bridge. it leaked again because it was on the air. So I went to Fusion, made it flat, and now it prints like that. So the bottom prints against the plate, and it's perfectly waterproof. And I actually, after doing the modification,
really nice.
When I did the modification, I uploaded to as a what is called a remix for other people. You lose the lip, which is kind of an aesthetic thing, but at the end of the day, if these things leak, it's
not worth printing them.
Right. So yeah,
that's really cool.
Captain,
I like the vibe of like a futuristic like a greenhouse almost, where you don't necessarily have fields and fields, but hey, you can 3D print these pots and then grow, I don't know, like whatever the hell you want. Carbohydrate plant 4. And
I saw, I don't know what documentary it was. It's somewhere in Europe that apparently they have this basement plant greenhouses, which is just like this tall, a system that kind of moves and kind of sucks waters, and they grow tons of vegetables in like small basements, like industrial amount of food.
Vegetables, sure, yeah,
and obviously if you combine, it will be just some 3D printed stuff, a bunch of CNC milled extrusions, and you can make probably a pretty productive garden with that. Because people buy what is called Aero Garden, but in Aero Garden, I guess you just put it on the kitchen counter and kind of throws humidity, but you're not really controlling the environment.
I think some of those Aero Gardens have like a water reservoir like underneath, and then the cups that the plants are in like sit in there, and the roots can kind of dangle down and drink.
What I mean is that it's basically like a 3D printer, not in an enclosure, versus if you put it in an enclosure, you can actually control the level of humidity and the temperature. The Aero Gardens, I don't think you will be able to control those because it's just sitting in the kitchen counter. But yeah, I don't know, maybe we should ask Boo to open a channel for gardening and see if people wants to do basically, with extrusions and 3D printed parts, make a little garden.
Yeah,
that'd be cool.
One of our members, Kevin Arna, he's in our Discord. He does some streams on Twitch, and he did a few planters actually that looked pretty cool. So, and I think if I remember, Boot mentioned once that he used to grow a lot of like tomatoes and whatnot when he lived in California. So I think he'd probably be pretty open to a gardening.
When I grew up, I grew up in a farm, and we had a greenhouse, and we grew material amount of vegetables. I'm pretty sure that we had more carrots and lettuce than we were able to eat. We also had tomatoes, strawberries, cherries.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it was pretty productive. The only bad memories I have is that the greenhouse was wasps. Wasps will net in there, and I actually have 3D printed terrariums exactly. And if you do it's I've seen people adding 3D printed parts to terrariums. What I don't know if it's good or not for the animals there. I don't know if like the salamander chewing on the plastic will kill it. That's. But yeah,
it's got to be better than some of those factory farms though that are out there for plants and whatnot. I mean, let alone the meat farms; those are really atrocious. Some of them, but a lot of those plant farms cause like algal blooms in nearby rivers and ponds and lakes and whatnot because of all the fertilizer. So, doing it that way would it's pretty cool, I think.
Oh wait, I'm thinking a terrarium as like animals, right? Not like.
Yeah. A terrarium, I think, usually holds critters.
Right.
It does? I thought it was like those enclosed, like ecosystem kind of.
All right, here we go. Come on, Google, don't fail me now.
I think one thing is like biosphere or bio bubbles or whatever they're called, which is a glass bubble, and people put some water and moss there or whatever, or a fish, let it go for 20 years. And just generates its own ecosystem. And I've seen some of those in museums. Then there are terrariums, which I had terrariums where I grew up in a farm. And my terrarium, what did I have there? I have small snakes, rats, mice, and the snake will eat the mice. I had frogs. I had crickets. I don't know, but whatever I will find on the farm, I will throw it into the terrarium, and then there it was Darwin.
You were playing God, man. That's crazy.
May the strongest survive.
Yeah.
The snake was pretty badass in that environment.
Oh, there you go. It's a vivarium versus a terrarium.
Oh, what is vivarium? I never heard that word before. It just sounds like life.
I don't know. I'm all Googled out. It's on you, man.
All right, I'll do it.
Can you imagine if Google switched to a subscription mode at one point? If there were not even a subscription, but if it cost like 2 cents per search.
A vivarium is an area usually enclosed for keeping and raising animals or plants for observation or research.
So vivarium is for critters, terrariums for plants. I don't think anyone's going to stop you on the street and put you in handcuffs for using the wrong word, but
yes, they will.
Yeah. Well, yeah, maybe,
a terrarium
maybe they will.
is usually a sealable glass container containing soil and plants.
Oh, so terrarium has no critters. So I got that one wrong. All right.
It allows for a creation of a small-scale water cycle.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, we should get that going. I think that's a new project. I did buy the Pomeranian grow thing, which is measures humidity levels, and the plants you just stick it in there. So it's definitely within the realm of the stab of the widow. But yeah,
there was
go ahead.
I was gonna say there was some dude on Doomsday Preppers, and like he had the whole setup, but it was like the jankiest like cyberpunk thing I've ever seen, where it was basically like the Rubbermaid plastic totes, a couple of Raspberry Pis, and some fish aquarium pumps, and that's what he did. Like basically what you're describing, the Pomeranian plant thing, but he did it like all super homebrew, and like the aesthetic was there. The dude was growing crops and was actually like harvesting and living off of them for a while. And I don't remember how he scored at the end of that episode, but yeah, like it's been happening. And I'm a huge fan of growing my own food because I am lazy and I don't want to go down the street and, pay someone for their
and you know where your food comes from,
Yeah.
It's not sitting in a truck from, who knows where for a week before it gets to you.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so weird though that like for such a tech oriented Discord server and community, like we very much value, staying the hell away from corpos and all this like high tech intervention into our food and stuff. Because really, if you think about it, if we were like pure technologists, we'd be like, oh, well, we should invent this goo that can have any texture and have any flavor. And then, to hell with, organic chickens and potatoes and tomatoes and peppers. Like we can just have, it'd be like the Matrix, it's that slime and he's like, has everything the body needs. It's like, does it though? Does it?
I feel that it is like, I like the gadgets that put the Cyberdeck and stuff like that look more like Fallout type of stuff, like a scavenge, and that kind of look and lifestyle, which goes much more with like having a small mini garden with a Raspberry Pi and water meter and kind of growing it yourself. I don't think that we are going for, what would that be? What would we, Westworld, that they have this extremely like sterile environment where they can create people and then they recycle, like can remake the people back into perfect and send them back to the theme park, which will be a place where you will feel that why will you actually need to grow food if you can just have the people overnight maybe recharge or something like that in a way more efficient manner. I don't think we're going for like a Westworld type of future. It's more of a Fallout type of place where people scavenge and make their own things. And I feel that in that way goes better to have a greenhouse that you just made out of kind of Raspberry Pis and parts that you found versus extremely efficient version where you just, I guess people were saying today that they have a Soylent lunch. I'll have
Go ahead.
Oh, I'll have a Soylent lunch like once, but that's
So only cannibalism once, but not twice.
Hey, they say it tastes like pork. A
Yeah, they
friend
used
told
to
me that
call
though.
long-
That was just a friend that said that. I
yeah,
don't know
they
what
used
you're
to
talking
call
about.
it long pig is
Yeah.
what some cannibals would call it or whatever, I guess. But I was gonna say that like the whole growing your own food kind of goes to the whole like independence and kind of like self-sufficiency that I think is pretty in tune with the whole cyberpunk kind of, you know, you're on your own kind of vibe, and I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
and there is a little bit of accomplishment feel when you like, you know, grab it and you take a bite out of it. It's a little like you build your little deck or you build like that little thing and then you actually use it for something. It's kind of quite rewarding. So I guess similarly.
It's like you watch your baby grow and then you eat it.
Oh my god.
Oh, that's the Simpsons episode, isn't it? That he grows, what is it, a lobster? I think Homer grows a lobster in one episode and then eats it.
I remember he grew tobacco, which was like tobacco tomato or whatever.
Yeah, I remember tobacco.
This tastes like grandma.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe I always mixed up Family Guy with Simpsons. So I don't know if it will be Homer or Peter that had a lobster pet, grew it, and then ate it.
Yeah.
I confused the two of them.
So I have like 10, maybe 15 feet of PVC pipe that I was using to fill with like, you know, just random things that I need for blacksmithing, like vinegar, water, oil, whatever. But I still have a lot left over. What I want to do is like, and I don't know how to do this consistently so it doesn't look like garbage. I want to split it down the middle. So I have 2 half pipes and then just use that as like a planter. And then that way you can like water one end of it and then the water just rolls down. If you keep it at a slant, the water just rolls downhill and everything gets watered. But like I said, like where would I even go to get that cut? How do you even do that?
If you have a table saw, you could probably do that.
Do not have.
But my dad, we work on plumbing and whatnot, and we had PVC laying around. He grabbed some PVC pipe, cut it in half, just like you're describing, and put it in the greenhouse, maybe like 5 feet tall, fill dirt there, and plant strawberries. And then the strawberry grows and kind of just drips on the side.
That's so cool.
Yeah, maybe they were like 20 feet or 15 feet pipe cut in half. The 15 feet of strawberries. Obviously, strawberries only grow like once or twice, so it just you get overflown of strawberries for a month. But yeah, it worked pretty well.
There are worse problems to have.
Yeah,
too many strawberries. They're like
PVC so cheap. Like you can just go to Home Depot and make your own. Like, I don't want to make it seem like I want to live in this gerbil terrarium tube world where like I have just everything I need just a skitter away, but like if I wanted to walk into my backyard and just not even have to lift my hands, just like get on my tippy toes and eat a strawberry right off the vine or something, like damn, that'd be cool.
No, you can't. No, that's not gonna work.
Rand Basic has a good idea. You could use a piece of a gutter.
Yep.
There you go.
Yeah. That's
the strawberry plant is pretty small. You wouldn't be able to do that. But what we did is the parking garage. It wasn't a parking garage. It was just a mesh that went over the 2 cars. My dad, we had a nearby grapevine, and he kind of tangled with the mesh. And after a few years, you could actually just arrive, park the car, and you could grab a grape and eat it. And grapes were there.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. The grapes do grow in a vine that you're able to like put around kind of a car garage, I guess.
Did you ever see those things where you can grow like strawberries upside down?
It's like that's what I was talking about. You can have like a
put it in a thing and then it it comes out of the middle of the pot on the bottom. They do it with tomatoes too. I've seen before.
Wait. So imagine that the PVC pipe was that, and you cut it in half. Mm-hmm. So basically, you put dirt up to here, plant, and then the strawberry grows, and then it starts dripping like this.
Right.
And
well,
then
I mean, it comes out like the bottom of a bucket. Like there's a hole in the bottom, so you plant it. Yeah.
And it's
I've
like
seen
the
they do
bucket
that
is
with
pooping out
tomatoes.
strawberries.
Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can find a picture of that.
Those are pretty cool. I've seen those. But I've also seen the ones where like you don't cut the PVC pipe in half. You just drill holes into it and then you plant seeds into the holes and then they just sprout out of the holes. But that seems difficult to
Let me see
water.
here. See, how do I share my own screen? Share screen.
I'm trying to open the YouTube so I can see the chat.
Is it sharing? I can't tell.
No, it's not sharing yet. Rand, you said you have an
Oh, there it is.
orchidarium?
Okay,
That's cool.
there we go.
Whoa,
See, something like this is like you have like this bag, and then you like there's a hole in the bottom, and like they're growing tomatoes here, but I've seen them do that with strawberries before.
I've never seen that, but
Yeah.
I've always been curious, how do you get them to grow downwards? Because wouldn't plants naturally want to grow upwards?
yeah. I mean,
Well, I think I really don't know. I mean,
oh, maybe in
tomatoes are
Australia.
pretty heavy.
In Australia, it'll be like that.
Australia.
Oh, yeah. No, of course.
Yeah. Let's see. How do I stop? There we go.
Or,
Still learning this whole,
or heaven forbid you start growing your own plant-based beer. Can't have any of that. That's Marxist speak. Who was it that was talking about that? It was like, next thing you know, they'll have us drinking plant-based beer. It's like, what do you think beer is made out of right now? What meat-based beer have you been chugging your entire life, dude?
I think need at least 30 seconds of context here. Like how do you get into conversation where someone is afraid that one day he's going to be drinking barley-based beer?
There was some I don't know, maybe a congressman, maybe a senator, I don't know, that was saying like, oh, it's whoever the other side is. I don't remember if it was a Democrat or Republican.
Sounds
it
like
doesn't
it would
matter.
probably be like Ted Cruz would say something like that.
Anyway, he's like, yeah, next thing you
Just
know,
guessing.
they're gonna, after they outlaw baseball, they're gonna have us drinking this plant-based beer. It's like, all right, dude. Okay, you should go retake high school, like all of it, all 4 years. Go back.
It's like if next time I go to Trader Joe's, they have a bacon-infused beer, I'll buy it. But that is going to be the rare beer. It's not going to be the most common beer.
Yeah, that sounds like a once-in-a-lifetime thing for me. I don't know.
That damn turkey beer gives me gas, is Rand basic.
But I guess if it has carbohydrates, you can turn it into alcohol. You just let a yeast eat it and then poop out alcohol and fart some CO2 into it, and boom, beer.
Yep.
At least that's my rudimentary understanding of
Beer
I
is
like
kind
that
of like
chemistry.
liquid bread.
Yeah.
I like better the legend of like someone having some bags of flour in the basement and getting humid in the 2,000 years ago or 1,500 years ago, and then it's like, oh look, this flour just went bad. Oh, let me eat some of it. Beer. Probably it's fake, but I like this legend.
This tastes fizzy.
This looks moldy.
Let me eat it.
And like, what could be better than eating mold from a basement?
Oh yeah, toilet wine.
Oh God.
Yuck.
Look, all right. So I'll just say it like a safety disclosure. We don't endorse y'all making your own bacteria-infested mutant pruno that's going to be growing out of your coffee pot or whatever the hell you weirdos are going to do. Do so with safety. Do your own research, and don't blame us if you start growing a fourth elbow out of your forehead or something like that.
Or if
Do
you
your
go
research.
blind.
Yeah.
Me personally, I can't do composting. Like like garbage in my kitchen is there as little, like only for as long as I'm lazy to throw it out. But if it's out of laziness, garbage doesn't stay in my kitchen. Like I can't even do compost. I know people
I
like
think when you're in an apartment, it's probably harder to do that too, because you'd have to do the composting indoors, wouldn't you?
good in the kitchen. Yeah, but there was this colleague that he lives in a brown house, a brownstone, and the city gave them for free these composting bins, and they put it outside. He said that like after a couple of months he was supposed to use it, and I think that either a penalty or something if you don't fill it. There is some sort of like you get the compost bin but you're supposed to use it. He said that he was disgusted of the sound of the flies every time he will open it. He will get open, it's like
Ugh. Ew.
and I was like, ew.
Well, it makes
And
you
is
wonder
it-
what he's putting in there, because you're not supposed to put any like animal products, or it should be just plants, and I think eggshells and coffee grounds and
Yeah, eggshells
like
are super
that.
good for compost. I've got
Yeah.
a little plastic bin in the backyard that I use, and I think a lot of it has to do also with the amount of moisture that's in there. Because if you add only plant stuff, then it gets super wet, and then like a lot of the moisture can't escape, and then flies for everybody. But if you throw in like dead leaves and just like even lawn clippings that have dried out, like brown stuff, basically brown crunchy stuff to absorb a lot of the moisture, then that keeps a lot of stuff from getting a little bit too gamey in there. Yeah, Rand, you have to mix fresh and dry.
One Airbnb that I went for like random weekend, obviously before COVID, the guy was composting only coffee grounds, and that seemed okay. Like he just had a bag of coffee grounds, it smells like coffee, and he said he will use that as a fertilizer.
Yeah, it's a good source of nitrogen for plants. I've used that, just like taking some coffee grounds and put it in just like a house plant and whatnot.
Yeah, it works pretty well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I just got a message from Boot, and he said he'll be able to join us in about 3 minutes.
Whoop whoop.
So,
Good deal. How's that?
So-
How's that keyboard coming along, Blasto?
well,
Oh yeah.
it's going to be a little while.
Yeah.
I ran into some issues, so I finished wiring everything up.
So
That
a
is
little,
so cool,
a
man.
little longer. Hold it for like 20
I
seconds.
know, I was
Yeah.
just so I can change it. And
Oh,
so
okay.
I
So that
don't know if you can see it all, but I used magnet wire, and I connected everything to the pins that are for the teensy that I was going to use. But apparently, the teensy that I chose, since it's the teensy LC, it does not use the 32U4 processor, and it turns out the one that it does use, I think it's like an M0 something or other, and it does not play well with QMK, I guess, and
That's weird.
which is kind of disappointing because I was so excited because I had the solder pads on there for the USB, because I was, but so.
I thought QMK ran on every, like you could install QMK on your garbage disposal. Like
You probably couldn't. You probably could do it, but I mean, it's definitely above my pay grade. Like,
I gotcha.
like way above. But from what I did,
are you
quick
trying?
googling.
Are you trying to do it cheap or like? Since I don't make many keyboards, I bought this 15-back chip, the Elite C. With it's USB-C. It's extremely thin. It's black and has kind of pretty art, and it's supposed to be advanced enough that it works with everything. It costs $15 though. I mean, I know some of them are $5, but really, if I only make two keyboards,
I ordered a Teensy 2.0, which is what I used in my other keyboards that I've made. So it actually came today. I haven't. It's still in my mailbox, I think.
Yeah, like I guess if you make tons of keyboards, maybe the $5 versus 15 matters. But if you only I make two keyboards.
Well, the Teensy 2.0 is not cheap either. It's about $15.
Oh, it's the same as
Amazon
this one.
anyway.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's probably the same as good. Is it also USB-C?
No, it's mini USB.
No, it cannot be mini.
It is. I have one here. It's running my keyboard that I've got in front of my computer here.
Mini or micro?
This is mini.
Dang, that's the OG.
Yeah.
Nice.
Mini. This is my fancy keyboard setup that I still
There you
have yet
go.
to finish.
I love that look though, like exposed wires, and it's like, I could put electrical tape on that later.
Yeah, we'll fix that later. But
I don't have many things that use mini USB.
I don't really like micro.
No?
No. Why do your cheeks look so puffy all of a sudden?
Yeah, that I need to find out why that happens,
That's kind
but
of
it does
adorable.
happen every now and then.
It's adorable too.
I just wish I could control it.
What
What
is
does
that?
it mean?
But,
Mumps is called the thing that you throw.
yeah.
Mumps? Yeah. No, I think I got vaccinated for that when I was half a year old. I don't know when you're supposed to get it, but
Did you get the booster?
apparently not. Oh, and that's something else that now. So ever since COVID hit India, and that's blowing up or whatever, people are saying, okay, well, it's only a matter of time because that population is so dense and so big that there's a strain that comes out of there. And now, I mean, all the paranoid people that are like, Bill Gates is going to mind control me with this 5G vaccine. Well, now people are saying, it's like, look, if things are mutating faster than we can develop a vaccine, then maybe micro machines and a vaccine isn't such a crazy idea. But like, I don't know if I need micro machines swimming around my bloodstream. I think
You
I'll
don't want to become a Borg?
roll the dice on some chicken noodle soup and maybe an IV drip, but I don't know. That, and I think people overestimate exactly what it is that micro machines in a bloodstream can do. It's not like there's some dude flying a quadcopter in your veins. It's like, yeah,
You mean
like,
to tell me it's not like Magical School Bus made it out to be?
yeah. Who would have thought? Miss Frizzle was
I
foolish.
just watched it last week or this week. What is it called? This is it this Netflix documentary of what's it called? Biohacking. It's this guy, the one guy trying to make fluorescent dogs, and another one thinking that he can shoot himself something to get rid of HIV. It was just weird.
Well, they
biohacking
actually do have
documentary.
a fairly recently. It's based on the Moderna vaccine. There's a HIV vaccine that they're starting to test in people, and I guess like 90% of people that they've tried it on so far have actually started producing antibodies for it. So, I mean, an immunization for HIV is not really that far away.
That'd be wild.
Thanks to the mRNA use in vaccines now. So,
As long as it doesn't end up like I Am Legend, I'm happy. Zombies getting flung off of helicopters and stuff.
well, eventually,
But speaking of biohacking, actually, let me take
We
a step
still
back
do.
from that.
Yeah, we showed that.
First off, DEF CON is back on, and you can buy tickets now. For the first time ever, you can buy tickets online to go to DEF CON. But at DEF CON, they have a biohacking village. And man, the things that they talk about at the biohacking village are insane. Like, it's not just some guy that's injecting an NFC chip into his hand so he can like clone his hotel key or clone someone else's badge and then just like bypass locks like that. But they're talking about stuff like, hey, we think it would be cool to, I don't know, they do some pretty, it's like borderline sci-fi creepy stuff, but it's also really cool.
In the documentary, it's in Netflix, so I mean that must be public knowledge by now. There's this place in Ukraine that apparently people go and it's like, yeah, I want a boy with blue eyes and something like that, and they just take it and they're like, well, we'll try to do it. It's like, oh, but is it a hit or miss? And it's like, well, we're about 92% accuracy on eye color, so here is the palette of blues. Just pick a blue.
That's insane.
Within 2
This is how like Star Trek starts out, with the augments and everything.
Yeah.
That's
I hadn't heard of that. That's wild.
The documentary shows this place in Ukraine that they are doing that. You go there and you just ask for the kit you want with the gender, the eye color, and a few other parameters, and they'll just make the kit for you. The kit out of 3 parents, basically they grab like if 2 parents are not being able to have kids or one has some issue, they grab, I guess, DNA from a third person. They mix the DNA with the 2 parents. So if it's not fertile, suddenly it's fertile. If it had some issue, now it doesn't. And then they make the kit out of that. And those are like businesses out there in Ukraine, apparently.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was pretty bizarre, some of these things. And those are like there, like you're only $1 billion away from these things. Like that's what separates you from doing that.
No, the thing I was
our glorious leader himself.
The fearless, yellow eyeballed, majestic son of a bitch that he is.
So what I come in on? What's going on?
We're talking about biohacking.
Oh, I was actually talking to a couple people about that recently. Met 2 different people that both have RFID implants in their hands for like door access and stuff.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Much more wild stuff.
Yeah.
Well,
MSB was telling us about the documentary he watched where you can like flip through a catalog and pick out what kid. It's like a character creation screen, but it comes out of your significant other instead of
It's just
an
hope they
MMO.
don't use the Oblivion character creation.
Oh,
Some of those
you mean,
kids are gonna be ugly.
like for reading out like flaws and stuff, right? Like genetic defects or changing the eye color.
Yeah.
There's been articles for that for the last 20 years where it's it's a viable option. You can pay money, and this is something you can actually do today.
That's insane.
It's not a guess. It's not a maybe. It's not like 50-50. You just pay them, and that's what happens.
That's exactly the documentary. Yeah, it was a Netflix thing, and it's like this place in Ukraine. People going, it's like, I want blue eyes. I want a boy.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to ever bring up Nazis, but it's exactly what they were trying to do with, selective genetic breeding. Create the perfect, the eugenics kind of thing. What was that movie with Ethan Hawke in it? Gattaca, yes, of course. One of the best movies ever made. Also, Ethan Hawke has been in a ton of sci-fi that's just incredible. But Gattaca, perfect example.
That is that Jerome in the movie.
Jerome.
I like Jerome is the guy in the wheelchair, and the main character. His name.
Drawing a blank on that one. Someone else famous.
I like the movie.
But yeah, that whole having these perfect specimens. Or did you ever see The Island with Scarlett Johansson?
Hell yeah.
Yeah, of course you did. Another perfect example. Also in The Island was, what was it, the Xbox 3000 or something? And it was like a VR sim. So you fight each other, but you're actually on like opposite sides, and it's not really you. It's like a full VR avatar.
It's like a holodeck kind of.
Yeah. That's another good example of it. The idea of growing humans for parts, except for instead of them just being brain dead, bodies, it's actually raising them thinking the world has gone through like a nuclear holocaust. So they're raised in this bunker, and then they're actually just spare parts.
Wasn't there a movie like that where they win a lottery and then they just get
The Island?
up?
Yeah.
Oh, that's what that was. Okay.
Yeah.
See,
I mean,
the name,
there might be more than one. Great movie though, definitely worth watching again. What specifically were you guys talking about for the biohacking besides the baby selection?
Well, I was gonna. Before that, we were talking about how DEF CON has a biohacking village, and DEF CON is selling tickets now, despite the thing.
Half online, half in person. They don't want everyone to show up.
Correct. But the one of the few talks that I did go to at the biohacking village, this guy was like, yeah, it's the same guy that remember Martin Shkreli, the guy that was like charging $500 for an EpiPen?
And he's rotting in jail right now.
He is. Well, this dude that I saw talk like invented the $30 EpiPen where you like 3D print the parts, and then all you have to do is like buy a needle and then your prescription epinephrine or whatever. But that guy was like, yeah, we've also got some other things in the works. And then sometimes like software that you really need will, quote unquote, fall off a truck, and then it just lands in your hands, which means that someone gave this to him and he definitely isn't supposed to have it. But it was this AI that like you feed it what the compound is that you want and what your starting components are, and then like it tries to minimize the number of reactions that it takes to get there, and it basically like spits out exactly step by step what you need to do. Which, yeah, he was like, I don't want to live in a world where people would rather have a broken femur than call an ambulance because then they'll be in debt for the next 10 years. Like, that's just it's a gross. He's a super cool guy that's trying to make things really inexpensive.
I did the documentary. Yeah, they go about this thing on the cost. But the thing is, there is the guy that is like, oh, I'm going to make it and it's going to be so cheap. And so he creates his own company and he tries to sell it. It doesn't really work. And imagine that someone is charging now $25,000 for something that costs like $1,000. And they're like, cost us $1,000, we sell it for $25,000 and we have the patent. So no one else can do it. If you're like, well, I'm going to be able to do it and I'm going to sell it to people for $5,000 or for $10,000. And that's kind of huge savings. The reality is the corporation selling it for $25,000, they can as well sell it for $3,000, for $3,000 for like 2 years, put you out of business, then put it back to $25,000 because it cost them $1,000. So it's not, you're not going from something that costs a lot of money to something that costs a little. Something like, you're not inventing here, making a car, having one artisan build a car, all the parts and everything to a line assembly.
Yeah, I agree. That's the scale. It's just not going to be there. It's a great idea. And if you can come up with the process and this cheaper version, but if you just release it so that every drug company out there can start making their own, now there'll be competition. Because normally you just have one company that owns a patent that creates one thing, and you're stuck with it until they're forced to create the generic version. The cost of medical treatment, what you're paying, you're not paying for the treatment, you're paying for the company to develop 10 more for the next decade. So that's how it works. That's where they get their funding. They really need better incentives. Government should just be paying their grants to develop new treatments and then allowing every company that can manufacture them access, instead of this business model where I break my arm, I go pay $100,000 in surgeries and treatments, when there's really only like $20,000 worth of labor involved and materials, and the rest of that money just goes to paying for the hospital that's underfunded and can barely stay afloat. It's really not a good business model that we have now, but it's no worse than any other country. Go to England, you break your arm, you're going to have to wait a couple weeks before you get treatment. So it's,
But where I was going more is that when they were talking about these new inventions and biohacking and how to use technology, very few of them were actually coming with better technology than is already available today.
Sure.
They were like, we may be able to charge less. But really, the one charging a lot today is not because costs are very high, it's because the incentives are set that way.
Have you guys looked at the CRISPR?
Yeah, CRISPR's cool.
Half of the documentary is about CRISPR.
It's scary, but it is cool because smaller companies can get in on very advanced technology and play with it. And that has the potential to, I wouldn't say you should be playing with this in your backyard, but you can actually buy the reagents and all the materials and work on it in your own little laboratory. But smaller companies, people that are just starting up and, have small grants. You okay there, Helix? You're
he's
out pretty hard.
He's twitching pretty badly.
I hope that's not you having a stroke.
No, I'm not. I'm eating chips and I muted myself so you guys can't hear me crunching away. But yeah, the Doge is freaking out.
Yeah,
that's how my dog looks actually when she eats my chips.
What's going on? Are you sure that the dog is not allergic to those chips? You may be creating an allergic reaction.
I think Helix is lying, and
puffy cheeks.
I think the dog is doing exactly what he's doing.
Early on, he had mouths.
You don't know me. You don't know me. All right. Fine. I'll eat my chips unmuted, so the whole world can enjoy.
Yeah, we can have the ASMR hour.
Oh my God, no! All right, back to mute.
Oh, it's not the noises that bothers us. It's just the twitching and you dying.
So before I jumped in here, I was just doing an install, and then on the way back, the weather looked real nice and the sun was setting. So I took out the quadcopter and had a couple of flights, went through a couple of battery packs. It was fun. It's nice out. It's good to just get outside, man. Summertime's on its way and it gets hot here. So far, it's holding out pretty decent.
Nice.
Unfortunately, like always, on the perfect flight, no memory card in the DVR, so no record of it happening. But I did do a couple flips, a couple barrel rolls. It actually performed better than I expected. This is a new quad, so I have very little flight time with it outdoors. Flew around the living room a bunch. It's tiny, so can fly it inside almost safely.
I wonder if in the dystopian future, like, kids in high school are gonna have like romantic evening and go to a sunset and watch like the trash from some destroyed satellite just gently rain down, and that'll be like their perfect sunset, and it'll be so romantic because, like, I don't know, not to derail it too much, but like there's so much garbage.
I've done that before. You've never sat and watched like when a satellite's going to deorbit and it just like streaks across the sky. It usually is a blue fireball. It's quite something.
No. I mean,
what?
This is already a thing. You can look at the schedule when they're deorbiting satellites and those smaller space station modules, and just go like sit and watch it if you happen to be in the right hemisphere.
Can you like harvest?
Well, no, because my
Yes.
understanding is that if it's well done, they schedule it. It should be all small parts, and there should all be going to either the water or unpopulated areas. Unless you're China, in which case.
So there should be nothing that hits the ground, but more often than not, something actually does hit the ground. It's usually in the ocean, but a lot of times it just lands. You absolutely could go harvest it. Technically, it's just trash. You wouldn't want to because it's going to be highly radioactive from the power modules they use. Those what do they call those things? It's uses a radioactive isotope that outputs heat and then uses like a Peltier junction to create electricity from the temperature differential in bimetals.
I know what you're talking about. I don't know what it's called.
Just look at Helix. Maybe this radioactive material is what he needs to get back to normal.
I mean, Paul H., his whole shop is radioactive, so.
Oh, yeah.
That is very true. He's
what is called the Geiger
pulls out a chunk of uranium from his.
This is why he has so many Geiger counters, is just to make sure that it stays radioactive. He's not trying to remove it. He wants to make sure those things are beeping at full blast.
Yeah, of course.
He's probably on a watch list somewhere.
Probably drinks out of a uranium ceramic glass too, like from the 1800s.
He was saying that he carried that because people must get back massage using radioactive balls, and he doesn't think that's a good idea. So he carries them around to show people that it's not a good idea.
What?
There's a lot of things that they used to make that were radioactive, and they said it had health benefits. Obviously, it didn't. It just killed everybody that played with these things. But if you have it in like a millimeter thick lead-lined bag, it's nothing. These aren't. We're not talking about real radiation here. We're just talking about like uranium, which is just a rock you find on the ground in the desert.
Yeah, it's natural.
What kind of chips do you have in there?
Yeah.
Some scoops.
What you scooping?
Who's better?
I call it the refrigerator surprise because it's
the sludge at the bottom of
it's
your
like
four different salsas are all in this thing, and then some sour cream that I guess I own that is also in there to kind of cut the heat.
Is it sour cream or is it just an old jug of milk?
This cream could not be any more sour. I can guarantee.
Chunky lemon milk.
But you know what?
Remember that episode of Cowboy Bebop? They open the fridge and that alien comes out of it. But it's actually just the It's actually just the leftovers.
That is my fridge. No, that's
lobster.
not my fridge right now. I get.
It's happened
pretty
on
twitchy
occasion.
about that.
We've all had that happen before.
I've had it happen once, and then ever since then, no. I speaking of, I take the nuclear option. I will like bleach. I will not at the same time bleach and ammonia, but you know, I will
Chemical
nuke every
warfare
organism
on the
from high orbit inside of my fridge. I will not have fauna
warfare.
like some new genus originating from my Samsung.
I moved into this house once that had a garage fridge, and it had been left unplugged. And I wanted to get rid of it. I wanted to just, I was just going to wipe it down and use it. I opened it, and it was not empty. It's hard to describe because it was moving.
I've watched enough forensic files that I used to say a body.
I would say, no, not a body, nothing like that. I would say it was such a large fungus that when I opened it, maybe the temperature change or something caused it to react, and it like pulled back like away from the door to protect itself, something like that. Basically a large green, red, purple, and blue and white mass.
Level 2 slime.
That like moved when I opened the door, which did not frighten me at all.
That's a place you rented. That's
Yeah,
not
did
you
you-
were the
No, that was
Throw
a place
that
I had
into a
rented.
fire? What did you do? What loot did it drop?
We we just taped the door shut, put it in the corner, and left it there for the owner. Said, "Come pick it up. This is your problem."
There you
Felix,
go.
you need to upgrade your dip to hummus. You can get hummus for like $2-3. It's an okay deal.
Hummus is terrible. Hey, you want the
What?
worst parts ever? Have a bowl full of mashed beans.
He's saying he makes 4 different types of salsa and has the sourest cream there's ever been. That
Sounds pretty good.
I'm
Hummus
not
can be
sour
an
and
upgrade.
sourness here.
Are they at least cheese flavored chips? You got full on nachos going,
No, it's just
It's good.
salt flavored. But okay.
So
To
how
your
about
point
that
about
tech
hummus,
news?
can I what do I have to grow, and how many PVC pipes do I need to buy to start making my own hummus continuously? Like I want
I'm not even sure what a chickpea looks like when it's growing.
it's a garbanzo bean.
So
I don't know.
it's a
I
bean.
imagine-
Just
you
grow
imagine
beans.
a bean string, and then you'll open the string, and then there will be like 3 or 4 beans, and then you just mash them. I've grown beans before.
yeah, that's pretty easy. That's like growing tomatoes. Everyone should grow tomatoes. They grow anywhere. Strawberries too. They grow everywhere.
We've
You
got
should
strawberries coming out of
mention
the
that.
sidewalk here.
So we spent the first half an hour talking about growing strawberries and tomatoes.
Why?
So when you
Fucking hell.
anticipating your comment,
Yeah, that and because in Blade Runner 2049, the new one, when Baptista's character is like a protein farmer, and like he's just out
Right.
there in like the little ponds, and he's like he just
Like,
scoops up
why
all these
don't-
insects.
Why don't they just grow tomatoes? Like in
They're
that far
extinct.
off. Yeah, but that's ridiculous. There's
can make
a lot of
make an
things in that
artificial
movie that are
human.
just
You can-
stupid.
You can
Exactly.
make a tomato if you can make a person. So
Right.
Yeah, and then we got on Tomako, and then we got on biohacking, and then here we are.
Tomako. The Simpsons. That's like the best thing ever. That's like their that's their best episode, It's just amazing.
we talk about like I don't know that again. Simpsons is a little bit too on the nose with that because weren't there reports of like animals in zoos and stuff that were like their teeth were rotting out of their heads because the sugar content in fruits these days has been so like ramped up just by
Yes.
selective breeding and genetic modification that it's like
Yep.
yeah, fruits were
It's-
never
it's
supposed to have this
not-
much sugar.
That's like go plant a avocado seed and see what happens. The fruit you get is inedible. It's this bizarre looking thing. There's only 1 out of every million seeds planted will produce a avocado that is even edible, and it may or may not taste good.
Yeah.
You cannot grow a avocado from seed and expect to get a good avocado. It has to be a cloned plant. So every single avocado you've ever eaten in your entire lifetime is a clone. You are eating clones.
That's awesome. I dig it.
Delicious.
Every single avocado out there of a certain variety is the same genetic base, virtually identical clone. It's trippy. We do live in an interesting world.
See,
And
and now
now
we're getting
we've
back to
got-
like the terrarium, where like if we want to grow our own like in perpetuity, and we don't have to rely on, carbohydrates brought to you by Yamaha, like we can.
Or
we
how
can,
about Nestle branded water?
Yeah, that's
How many movies have they made where water is not a right; it's a service that you have to pay for?
yeah. I don't want to think about like how close we are to, how Idiocracy like actually came to pass, even though it was a satire when it came out. Like, how
That
far
is-
are we from?
That is my all-time favorite comedy, by the way.
There was
It's
this
just
episode of what's it called, Captain Planet. It was like this thing that there's like people with rings. It's like fire.
yeah, it was Captain
Yes.
Yeah,
A
and
hero.
there was one episode where like someone managed to pollute the air enough that then he can make a business of just selling like clean air in bottles, and you just have to.
Yeah, that was
to get it.
Spaceballs. The Perrier that you had to buy canned air is Perrier.
So
Mhm.
yeah,
They
I
have
remember when.
canned oxygen. I've seen it at Walmart. Like it's
That's
they
for when
call it-
Shut
you're.
your mouth. You
that-
serious?
I am dead
it's for
serious.
elevation sickness. So when you go on a hike and you start to go hypoxic, you can suck down some pure O2 so you don't pass out. It has a
Well,
purpose in high
this-
elevation. It's
this
not.
wasn't like medical oxygen. It has to be a low enough content to be sold without a prescription.
It is
You
true,
can't just
but
buy oxygen. This
It's a-
oxygen was pretty much just air. in
it's a
can
very.
with like a little squeeze thing that goes
All
over
right, here's
your
the thing.
nose.
It's a scam, okay? If you're up in
No.
the mountains and you try breathing from one of those cans, it won't actually help you. It's like people who have to wear special shorts and hats and stuff when they go on vacation. They look like they're going on a safari, but they're just visiting Florida. People who come to Colorado and go hiking, they buy themselves a can of bear mace. They go buy themselves a gun. They get a can of oxygen. They get a special bag. They do all this stuff to go prepare for a hike. When the rest of us just like throw on some shorts and go for a hike.
Yeah.
See, this is the future.
Yeah.
Right here, you just,
The marketing on this
No
stuff is
way.
absolutely insane. We used to see it all the time. It would be in every shop up in the mountains, all of the corner stores, all the outdoor, like the REI shops,
Remember when
Dumbest-
there used to be oxygen bars where you could
I,
buy
I
like
do. That was like high school for me.
yeah, that was actually a
Um,
thing.
And we have now
peppermint.
flavored concentrated air.
Yeah.
Here's peppermint.
I
here's
thought
grapefruit,
I just see there
eucalyptus.
are a few like just a couple hours from New York City hiking trails, and they're extremely popular. We go there sometimes, and you almost have a line. You're like surrounded by people, everyone with the dogs. It's a ton of people, and it's like
Yeah.
3 miles, and it's like a stroll in the park. And you see some people showing up with like the sticks, and it's like it's a stroll in the
It's
park.
like, where do you think you're going?
There's like 500 of us here, and we're just like with the dog and the
I know.
leash.
And they've got like their camera set up on the arm, and they're pretending that they're out on some adventure somewhere.
With the
But like, if
GoPro.
you turn around, the parking lot's right there.
Yes,
Yeah,
just
there's a lot of that going on. I was thinking it'd be interesting if the compounds that they could put in a vape would actually release O2 when heated, when vaporized. Like, there's got to be something you could just directly breathe that broke down into oxygen when it was heated, besides water, because steam would burn you. It would be
Steam
interesting
isn't
if there was
oxygen.
something.
You'd have to use like hydrolysis or whatnot to actually.
Right. No, I'm just saying you wouldn't want to try and use water to break it down because you end up with steam as one of the.
You could just break water down.
That's true.
Yeah.
You could just, but that requires a ton of energy. I'm thinking saying that would do it through
You do it
heat
with a 9-volt
versus
battery.
electrolysis.
Remember that movie?
Tiny bubbles.
Remember that movie, The Abyss, or something like that, where they're
Yeah.
like they're diving down to the
Yeah, they
hours,
breathe. They
the
breathe
Marinara
liquid,
Trench.
the
Yeah, and they have
liquid
the
breathers,
liquid
yeah.
oxygenation or something.
The only,
Someone actually made that work. recently.
Yeah, is that real? That's what your idea.
It is real
Yes.
now. They actually have made it work. The main problem is that your lungs, when they fill up with fluid, it damages them. But as someone posted the other day, they've now found a way to inject oxygen in through the anus. And that would probably be a viable option for these deep dives. Fill your lungs with water for the pressure equalization, but you don't breathe through that, or not water, but that liquid. You wouldn't breathe through it. Instead, you would just have like a blood transfusion, that would oxygenate your blood or some, I don't know. It's a bit ridiculous. I think I'd rather just stay above water.
When I heard Blasto with the bottle of oxygen, I was like, the closest thing I've actually seen, and I know about it. I do scuba diving, but I only have what is called padding 1 or 2. So I only do the go down and then
you can only go in the kiddie pool,
and then maybe 40 minutes of like waiting for decompression. And sometimes if I just go fast up, you have to take a couple of aspirin, otherwise your blood starts like blowing up a little bit. My dad is like PADI 3, so he does go down to the point that he needs to be breathing a nitrogen-infused, some slightly different mix, because otherwise, at certain, the oxygen becomes poisonous, and so you will breathe and you will kind of just get high, which is extremely dangerous, because at that point, the main thing you have to sing underwater is every 10.
I wonder if anyone's ever done that on purpose to intoxicate themselves.
I guarantee it. I guarantee it. Yeah.
Right? It's like someone's done that on purpose, went down, gave himself the bends just to get high.
My dad has been with people down there that has gotten high, and then he had to like hold them and shit like that. If you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, I know one person that happened to, and they kind of had like this little mini freak out thing, and then they got all loopy and
they just, the first thing they do is they just stop holding with the breathing thing, and you see the guy there. You have to put something there to breathe. Yeah, it's not an environment where you don't really want to be high.
No, that's where you need like some, to modify your child to have gills so they can be like an Olympic, diver, genetically altered.
Yeah, but I don't want to be the one to find out that my child is allergic to pool chlorine and it irritates their gills. So suddenly they have these non-functioning gills, and I sunk all this money into it.
Well, you know how it is. Version 1 always has some problems.
Yeah.
I'd wait till like 3.0 comes out.
That's what I've been waiting on.
But yeah, that's the one case for this bottle oxygen or bottle weird things to breathe makes sense, is underwater. But to take a hike on the mountain doesn't. Marketing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So who's watching here? We got 6 people in the crowd. Ooh, slow night. Any questions from the peanut gallery?
Not really.
It is awfully quiet in here. How about we go take a moment and post some links to the live stream in places that we normally post them. See if we can pull some people in. Get our crowd.
There we go. Got to get that
everybody
engagement.
Should be subscribed with the little bell icon.
It's because our thumbnail. Go ahead.
There are 45 people subscribed, but you know how that is.
It's all about the thumbnail meta. That's the new thing the kids are talking about, is making the most ridiculous thumbnails to bait clicks, so people will like click on your stream.
Not my style.
Yeah, I mean we could, and I've done that a few, as you know, you've seen the other streams. But I kind of like the simplicity of just the logo that Player 2 made for us, because it's very good, and it
really like
it just looks good on black. It's we've had good luck with that. There's a lot of very talented artists in our group. Trekius, he made us all of the emoji. Yeah. So now we have a custom emoji for like every Cyberdeck that anyone has made, which is just awesome.
Apparently, Captain Numbnuts is a cashew.
I don't believe.
I was wondering what kind of nut he was.
Now we know.
Wasn't the kind I was thinking.
Hey. Just gonna softball that one in, huh?
Ooh, softball. But
There we go. There we go.
Blasta doesn't get it yet.
I get it.
He's just looking at us like we're children.
Well, I am the most mature.
I see the eyebrows growing back in. Nicely.
I have to.
I was waiting for someone to bring that
have eyebrows.
Well, you do now.
They've always been there. Shut up. I tell you. You know, next stream I'm gonna just draw on some the most ridiculous.
Go full drag eyebrows.
Yeah.
Can you have new eyebrows every episode, please?
Yeah,
We just don't.
I am MSG and I endorse this.
Thing.
Yes.
When my grandma was, she suffered from dementia, but she would actually use ballpoint pen at some point to do her eyebrows, so she'd have blue or red. You know, I could draw.
Yeah,
some,
of course.
You know,
My grandmother was a Mary Kay sales woman, so she had 2 lifetime supplies worth of makeup, overstock, samples. She had this whole Mary Kay room. It was just wall to wall makeup. So she just wore as much makeup as she could every day her entire life. It was fantastic. And she was so good at it too. You demonstrate it by being really good at it. And then it was like before having an Etsy shop. You would go and you'd have parties, Tupperware parties, invite all of your friends over and then casually invite them to buy your shit for your pyramid scheme.
Back before the essential oils were a thing.
I mean,
Yes. Same thing though. It's just these were actually quality products versus random shit that you got off eBay and now you resell in a nice little bottle.
Hey, look, because I'm a Scorpio, the lavender essences that get vaporized into my nose mean that when Mercury goes back into retrograde, all those bad vibes are going to go to the people that didn't follow my Instagram.
Thanks for joining us, Felix. We'll see you next time.
Yeah, no, that it's weird to think that we're doing all this crazy science and NASA has billions of dollars of research money. Whenever you buy Taco Bell or whatever and you pay taxes, some of that tax money goes into making science in space, and NASA will freely give that information away to let people know exactly what retrograde is. But in the year 2021, all right, there are movies that are set to be futuristic that should have already happened by now, right? Doc Brown should have already had the time traveling DeLorean by now.
Well, he did. You just don't know about it.
I think you're trying to sell us on that the Earth is not flat. I see where you're going there. I see where you're going there.
Technology is not the issue with people. Some people are just dumb. You can't undumb some people and tell them look, man.
The term is you can't fix stupid.
yes.
There,
Coined by Ron White, if I recall, right?
Couldn't tell you.
He was a comedian.
My old manager used to say that all the time, and he was the biggest idiot ever.
See, that's just poetry right there.
It is. He didn't realize that he was the dumb person in the room.
That sounds funny and also really painful to work with at the same time.
It was.
Nice.
But he's gone now, so all is well.
What projects are you working on, Boot?
We got some glitching here, some technical difficulties. Am I still on?
Ooh.
It's something.
You sound like you're a demon.
Yeah. I think
Right.
yourself is coming through.
Yeah. Freeze frame. Yes. It's not a technical difficulties episode without something like this.
I think I can do this on command now. Hold on a second. Let's see.
Now say stuff.
I found the ability to do this at will. It takes a few seconds to load.
You know when Neo first goes into the Matrix and the camera goes down his throat and then his voice gets all pixelated and stuff? That's exact.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, just like that.
Yeah.
That's what it sounds like. That is nightmare fuel. No
I
thank you.
I can pretend I can have a
Do it too.
56K modem on command.
Yeah.
All I did was open Discord.
That's funny.
Jesus. That last update, they must be just cranking the bandwidth.
That's something else that I never understood. Like, so Discord is the latest iteration in what has become glorified messaging apps,
AOL, right? AOL chat rooms, you know, IRC,
the good old days.
Merrick.
You know what? I don't care what the platform is, as long as it works and it's whatever's current and popular. And when the next one comes, I will switch the group over to it, because that's the whole point. Use what works. Some people get so hung up on, oh, I don't like this. I don't like this new feature. I don't like this thing. Well, that's your problem. You know, stay with the times. Keep up with what's current and new. Don't let yourself become, you know, outdated, like wearing the same jacket for 10 years. Get a new jacket.
Yeah, I'm with you, Blasto. What are you trying to say, Boot? What the hell are you trying to say, man?
Are you going to ask us to install TikTok?
Oh, God, no. Please stay away from TikTok.
No, TikTok is awesome. You can do a 10-second video about 3D printing, and you can engage with 100 million people in one day.
Oh, my God.
And you could get all of those people into 3D printing just with a simple, short video that took no effort to create, or very low effort. You don't need to do like a dance or something stupid, but it's just another platform. Just like Instagram. Instagram is the new Facebook. Yeah, people use it like Facebook, and it's actually quite nice that way. You have the
I want to
photo.
see Boot floss on TikTok.
I second this motion.
And I want a new Corvette, but
one of these two may happen.
There we go.
Yeah, one of these two may happen, and I've been eyeing that Corvette. So
no, I'm with you. It's. I don't like it when people just bury their head in the sand and say, "No, I'm not going to stick with the times just to spite other people." Like, come on, like, yes.
You know what it is? They're unwilling to
thing.
learn. They're just unwilling to learn something new. Just yesterday, I saw someone on a different platform talk about how they didn't think Discord was good, that it was just a bunch of gamers sitting around, that it was useless, it was just this, oh, I don't get it. Well, that's your problem. You don't get it. You don't realize that it is a good platform to share technical information, because I can use the search function and go back and find every single post and mention of exactly what I'm looking for very easily. Unlike other, you know, like Facebook or other platforms where it's really hard to find what was posted, or a chat room where the post is gone and buried 10 seconds later.
I just don't like how much space they take. Because like Facebook Messenger on your phone takes up almost 2 gigabytes for a messaging app.
I don't know. I don't have it.
What the hell is going on under the hood that it requires 2 gigabytes of storage?
Well, it's recording you constantly, and then it does a nightly dump when you're not paying attention.
I take a nightly dump on Facebook's harvesting of my data. It's just evil, man. Like
it is.
That's my only issue.
You know
with
what I'd like to
apps.
see for Discord as a feature would be something similar to a actual web page, like on MySpace. You could put in custom HTML and create a page.
That was cool.
And it was an awesome feature, and it's why it was so popular. We all had our the Facebook the MySpace customizers, and you'd write all of your very basic HTML code and have a bunch of stuff scrolling around. But on Discord, I would like to see something like that. The chats are not searchable outside of it, right? So everything we talk about in Discord, nobody can just search Google and then find that in Discord we explained how to fix this technical problem. It just doesn't exist. It doesn't exist outside of its own platform. And then each group, you can't find information between groups. So it would be really nice if there was a search function that worked like cross-platform, where you could search for a question and it would actually search every Discord. and allow you to find the Discord you need with the information you need. Or, for instance, have a forward-facing page or channel in the Discord that would actually get crawled by Google's search engine search bots. I would like it if there was that interconnection. I mean, I kind of like in some ways that there isn't, because, like when you search Google for something, all you find are Reddit subs. Yeah. But oftentimes that is the information you needed that's been posted to Reddit. Because Discord doesn't have that connection, there's a lot of information going unseen that is could be useful to everyone.
I'm going to play the devil's advocate, though, and say that, like, a lot of conversation, like, I don't want, now that I would say 95% of my
there should
interactions
be specific
online,
channels for it.
Like, yeah, I don't know that not that I have anything to hide. It's uncomfortable for me to think that, like, yeah, the history of my social life for basically all of 2020 is on a Discord server somewhere. Like, that freaks me out. And do I want that Google searchable? Hell no, because that, like,
I agree there, because
social engineering goldmine.
You're talking
Discord's
shit and just chatting, and but there really could be, there could be dedicated pages, the ability to enable that function. Some stuff
like
was searchable.
Toggle an archive.
Yeah, or like pinned, like when you pin a message, that some kind of connection there, or just an easier way to find Discord groups with the topic that you're looking into. Handheld video games, Cyberdeck creation. You don't find a link to Discord, to our Discord on Google. You have to go to this website first and then find our link. It would be nice if there was a little more connection there. I feel like the group could grow a lot faster. Instead of everyone goes to Reddit because it's the first result, and then they see a bunch of shit posts and a bunch of 1970s calculators and not calculators, specifically typewriters, old typewriters. Everyone's posting old typewriters. Like, we get it. It looks like a mechanical keyboard, but come on, like, that's good.
It's like everyone watched the same short in the Animatrix where it's like the detective, and that's what he's got for his personal computer is the typewriter and like the CRT, but it's still very like green streaming code and stuff like that. I think it's just it's like anything else. It's a trend.
What you mentioned though about social engineering, we all give, let slip lots of little details that you could collect in to create a model of the person, to find out, pretty much age, location, interests, sexual orientation. All these things could be created into a model, which is exactly what Facebook does. They don't bother making like a 3D avatar of you, but they essentially have that much information. They basically have cloned you, and they do have a pretty powerful AI. So I assume they could probably actually create an AI model of you and carry out a somewhat human-like conversation that would, probably mimic you by 90% accuracy.
Have you ever heard
those deep fakes they have too?
Oh yeah, those are excellent. There's an app that's just fantastic to play with.
Yes.
Like, I've made myself like Indiana Jones and Pirates of the Caribbean, like Johnny Depp's character, all this stuff. It's hilarious. Me and my brother, we have some age between us, but we look essentially identical at the same age. And we both were doing the deep fakes and sending them back and forth, and we couldn't tell after a while who was who, because
awesome.
Our, the model that it trains on was just basically creating the exact same face for both of us. And it was hilarious, but why not a whole movie, right? If I can pay $1 for a premium subscription to have deep fakes created from an image, why can't I do 20 images and then have it process an entire movie and put me in it?
You probably could.
I'm pretty sure that you can, actually, and I can't wait till that happens.
I read an article recently. I forget where it was. It wasn't long ago, actually. It's where they're going to be using like deep fakes to replace, actors in different movies. I think they were going to do that with that woman from The Mandalorian that they canceled.
Oh
They're
yeah,
gonna
Yeah.
replace her. Yeah, using a deep fake thing.
That'd be pretty messed up, though. Like, do they own the rights to her face,
Disney
to
owns
her
everything.
essence?
to her image.
There's
yeah.
actually a movie about that.
I believe it.
I'm gonna search here, find the title of it because I don't remember.
They,
Disney owns everything.
they could replace the later Dumbledore with the original Dumbledore. I like the original Dumbledore better in the movies.
Yeah, the OG Dumbledore was. He
The
nailed it.
superior.
He nailed
Yes.
it.
So I guess you just grab the original, deep fake it into the second one, and then you can get the Harry Potter's all with the same Dumbledore.
That's not a bad idea. I'll bet you people would like that would re-spark some interest into that series now that it's kids aren't reading kids aren't reading Harry Potter anymore.
And it's a magic place, so it's kind of it's not too creepy or too far off.
Yeah.
Are they not reading Harry Potter anymore? I figured that would just kind of keep rolling over to all the new generations.
They haven't come out with any like. I think the latest thing that got people's attention was the Fantastic Beasts
Yeah,
movies.
those were crap.
But now that
They should
Johnny
just
Depp is
re-release.
no longer playing the bad guy,
Just re-release the movies. Just put Harry Potter back out again, and don't change it. Don't just. It would still be good today.
Yeah.
I've never seen any of the Harry Potter movies or read any of the books.
Do
Yeah. You're
They were
missing
good.
out.
they were
like
good.
Eh.
I'm not going to
I
say they were
tried.
like jaw-dropping, like life-changing stuff, but it was good.
Yeah,
you,
my
you could
parents-
you could do much worse on Sunday afternoon than watching one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah, my parents wouldn't let me read it because it was witchcraft.
Yeah.
And then and as an adult, I just don't care enough to go back and read an entire set of books.
Yeah. And they got
on that.
they are lengthy. They are
I audiobook them and then I watch the movies. It's fine.
yeah.
My brother actually read the books. I don't do that too much work.
I mean, I don't mind reading a long book. It's just I don't know, starting a new series that's that long,
Yeah,
I
it's
wanna be,
exhausting
like,
just
really-
to think about.
Yeah,
It's
I just
like
wanna
if
be
someone
really
came to me and was like,
interested
"Hey,
in it
man,
first."
Do you want to start the Wheel of Time series?" I'm like, "Nope. No, I don't. That sounds terrible. I have other things I want to do, like play Pokemon Snap. A whole saga of books right now is not something that I'm looking for. But I was talking to someone else pretty recently. It's like, man, what happened to things like people enjoying things because they were difficult? Like we were talking about the death of real-time strategy games and how like there hasn't been a new real-time strategy game that has come out and like ever since StarCraft 2 basically flattened all the competition. And Blizzard
I
is
think
no more.
Current day kids are too stupid for half of those games, to be honest.
But like
I mean,
the custom game that came out of what was it? It was like a Warcraft custom mod that came out of Defense of the Ancients, turned into Dota, which then became its own genre of games, like the MOBA. And now instead of controlling this entire army and having to budget resources and strategically look at
those are
terrain
pretty
and stuff like
crappy.
that, now it's like, okay, you control this one guy, which I'm not saying it's not hard because there are still dudes getting paid millions of dollars to do it today. So I'm not saying it's not simple, but it just felt like people enjoyed the challenge back in the day of sharpening a skill so that once you were good at it, it was like, damn, this dude knows the terrain, he knows the limitations, he knows like
there's
the
games
limitations of
coming
his
out
army.
now that you can't win, right? All the open world RPGs, you don't win or lose. You die, and what do? You just spawn back and keep going. Like, what's the point?
That's what kind of bugged me was like, actually, yeah, like all the like Valheim, where it's like, all right, what am I doing here?
Even
besides
Fallout
building a
has that
house?
same problem.
There was a
You're
storyline to
essentially-
Fallout, though.
right? But you can't lose.
Yeah, that's
I
what
don't
that's
like.
what
I don't
bothers
like
me.
games where you can't lose.
Yeah.
I mean, what's the point?
There's that.
Yeah.
There is that Steam.
Everyone
game.
gets a trophy.
There's that Steam game called "You Only Die Once," and then like once you get your first death, the game doesn't work anymore. Like the game breaks itself after you get your first death, and then that's
I feel that Diablo had a good balance there. You could
If
play.
that game costs $2, that's cool because you
I
can
think
just buy it again.
Diablo had a good balance. You could play with the respawning, but you could also play the hardcore, and then when you die, the character is over. I think that was a good balance. I played at the beginning with the ability to respawn, and when that became too easy, I will play the hardcore, which you can just die once.
All right, so it took a moment to find. I'm going to jump back here. The movie is called The Congress. If you haven't seen it, you need to see it. It gets so much right, and it goes so deep into just cyberpunk and the future of deep fakes and owning someone's likeness. I'm going to spoil a little bit here. The Hollywood actors sell their likeness, so you go get scanned, and then they never have to actually work again. They just get put into movies and commercials, and you never have to actually go there again. You say all the words, so it creates a model of your voice.
That's insane.
And it also goes into the part of the corporation wars, which is kind of a real thing. Corporations sabotaging each other, stealing from each other. Basically comes down to Warner Brothers and Disney being at war with each other. I won't spoil any other part of it because this movie is just insane. You'll have never seen anything like it, and it really is starting to come true, the things in this movie. And it's not like it's that old. It's only 8 years old, so they're not way off on in the past predicting stuff in the future. But when you watch it and you see how much of it is accurate to today, especially with VR and living in a VR simulation, and then you look at the rest of it and realize that a lot of it's probably on its way. I mean, seriously, it's worth watching. It's a bit slow. It's a bit hard to get through the first half. Stick with it. The second half is insane. Completely bonkers insane.
I'll check that out.
The Congress. Definitely watch it.
The idea that some post of Kardashian selling a perfume is a deep fake, I mean, that sounds pretty mundane at this point.
Which is something else that's kind of interesting. Like, at what point will we no longer just need actors? Like, we have the math worked out of what makes people attractive.
Well, there was
NVIDIA
that,
can deep fake just humans out of nothing.
What was that Al Pacino movie where he's the, he has an AI, like it's a fake actress?
Simone.
Yeah, that covers that pretty well. It wasn't a good movie, but the idea is there.
Well, I'm saying, like, do you see that? I could see that happening within the next 10 years. Like, actors just aren't, it's not a profession anymore.
I know a producer, and I have been bugging him to pitch something like that for years.
Yeah.
He just doesn't do sci-fi, so it's kind of, the wrong genre. But it's like, come on, just say it, mention it to someone somewhere, and it'll happen.
Where'd Blaster run off to?
He's looking for his other eyebrow.
No, I'm still here. I'm just making my desk rise up so I can stand. It's just kind of noisy because it's a crank.
I gotcha.
So you're cranking it right now?
Crank that Soldier Boy?
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow, no one got that joke?
No, I got it. We're not going to react to it. You man-child.
I am what I am.
Fair enough.
No shame.
What else? We were talking about how I still haven't started on my ammo can Ein deck yet. But
all right, so go watch Zach Friedman's movie video about how to complete projects.
I did see that one. I liked it.
And then watch the next one about how to make your project videos not suck. And you'll be covered. You just pause it, complete the step, pause it, and keep going until you get through it.
Well, I have to survive the sourest cream first before we even get to that point.
Are you sure that's not like a face mask or something someone left in the fridge?
Hemorrhoid
Dude,
cream.
I've got 4 other salsas in here, just kind of just kind of invading my palate.
Hey,
It
you know,
might
we're
be
talking
shampoo.
about
I don't
we're
know.
talking about biohacking. Those salsas you're eating, especially if they're a little bit old, those are full of lactobacillus. The stuff that lives in your gut that
It's a
supports your
probiotic.
immune system.
Good for ya.
You're actually biohacking your body right now. You're, pumping it full of bacteria.
Boom.
And hopefully good ones.
We're
Just
not all.
put 911
ones.
on a speed dial.
I said hopefully good ones.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, we'll find out. Okay, and
Hopefully
right
it's not
now,
Listeria.
my issue is not finishing the iron deck. It is starting the iron deck. I don't even have like an initial concept of
The
what I want it
handles.
to look like.
You know the handles on the side of the keyboard?
Yes.
I found them. I mean, they are exactly the same as
Please
in
link
the
them to
drawing.
me. I need those.
You know the battery hookup? Battery hookup. They have like used 18650 cells that are pulled out of modems. They're a recycling company. I'll get you the link. They have this case that is meant for building like large battery packs that go in server racks for battery backups.
Yeah.
I imagine they were some kind of a commercial product at some point, and they've just gotten a hold of a bunch of them. This case has the handle on it, and it's so perfect that I've got 2 of them sitting in my shopping cart right now, but I haven't decided if I want to buy them or not.
And drop the link.
Yeah,
I'm
Depot
looking
does
for it.
have-
I'm looking for it. Jeez.
Home Depot has a couple.
And only $10 and you get a
cabinet
whole
handles
case too
that are
with the
pretty
handle.
much identical as well.
All right, I'm gonna drop it in the public chat though, so everyone. So you get a really cool metal case. It's about the size of a mechanical keyboard. It's about this size, and it's only $10, and the handle is exactly that. And you'll pay $10 for one of those handles off Amazon or Home Depot alone, but you don't get the metal case. And the metal case itself, I think half of it, if half it was being used and like flipped over, would actually look like the metal tray that keyboard is mounted into. I dropped the link there in the chat. I'll throw it in the private chat too, so you can click on it.
The other thing is this box, this metal ammo can that I have is big. Like, it's. I would say it's bigger than my torso. I could fit my torso inside of this thing.
If you want to go more accurate, just use a cardboard box and put a beige tower inside of it without the side panel. That's what the.
Then what am I going to do with this thing?
Why would you guess the size of boxes with which body parts you can fit in? That's not how people measure.
That's,
because
that's
we don't
what
know
the
how
first
big your
measuring
torso
tool was a
is.
cubit, right? From your elbow to your middle finger, the tip of your middle finger.
Felix, is your torso, is it this big? Or is it this big? It doesn't really help us know how big the box is.
Oh my God.
Now,
You're
if you
right
had
that
a
my
banana
torso
for
is large.
scale, that would be
Fine.
different.
I'll take pictures. Look, I'm not going to send you. Never mind. There's
You're not
too
going
many
to send me pictures of your box?
of my banana, but
In your torso.
yeah.
We're getting demonetized this time.
Yes, we are. But anyway, yeah, I'll take pictures tomorrow. But
Oh, and we're down to 4 viewers.
To be fair, though, we weren't actually monetized yet, so.
No, I hope someday to reach enough subscribers that we can be demonetized.
that's a great goal to have. It's like, man, I really hope we get
Here's,
demonetized one day.
Someone open
Here's one from
Discord
Home
and tell
Depot.
everybody to get their ass back in the chat.
Ooh, I like that metal handle.
Yeah, see, it's exactly like that is what I picture when I think of Ed's Cyberdeck. And one of my favorite and one of my very first builds ever. I used to have a collection of beige towers and old hardware, so I think I had a Pentium 3 in there with probably 64 gigs of RAM. I mean, megabytes.
Yeah.
And beige tower box. Put it in a cardboard box. I cut it and glued it internally to fit it to size. Tore it a bit. Did some writing on it with a Sharpie. I didn't have the keyboard. I didn't have the ability to make them back then. Custom mechs weren't exactly a thing yet. I was just stuck using it with a IBM Model M keyboard, some piece of crap, And yeah, it was pretty cool. That was my home PC for a good couple of years. Had a little bit of overheating issues because of the box. Had to kind of keep tearing away more of it to vent it, but it was pretty cool.
Just ripping pieces of the box off.
Yeah, like it's like, oh, I need some venting, and you don't want to like cut it all perfect. You want it to be torn because you're keeping it in universe, you know.
Yeah.
Spill some coffee on the corner and let it kind of sag and wrinkle up a bit. You know, has water damage on it, like.
So you're saying I should like go to the dumpster of a Costco or something and just like fish one of the cardboard boxes out of there? And
I mean,
like,
you probably have an Amazon box you could turn inside out.
Pre-stained with mango juice or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't go that route. I would just use an Amazon box, turn it inside out, and tape it back together. I mean, if you want to make a prop that really looks like it and functionally. If you have the guts of a tower in there, you've got a nice metal structure. That's going to be an indestructible thing if you can find yourself an old case.
That's what I was thinking is, like, I think I've got all the parts I would need to build another PC. Granted, it would get ultra hot inside of the case because there's no cooling. There's no vents in that box. And I really don't want to cut into it because it's just so cool and old school.
I say leave the box as it is because you did post a picture of it. I saw it. Those are excellent. Your stuff in it would stay dry. It will float. If anything, just add a pad to one side of it and 2 shoulder straps with a cross chest strap. Make that a carry case. Make that to throw on your back. Like that would be the ultimate bug out bag. A hard case. It's secure. You could fit a lot in there. You can fit your torso in there.
Yeah. I could fit anyone's torso in there.
You could
fit
basically,
your torso in there.
You could take both ends off and then sleep in it. Like a hard case sleeping bag.
Don't tempt me with a good time. That's all right.
You just put your head in it so you don't get attacked, like in your sleep, so you're protected.
Enough talking about my box and head and banana. I need to go to sleep, guys. All right, I'll catch you guys next time.
Felix, before you go, I did post in the chat the Home Depot link to the.
Yeah, I opened that. That is spot on. That is exactly the kind of handle I was looking for.
So.
Oh, all right.
Well,
the IKEA
for that paycheck.
No, it's Home Depot.
Where is this? I don't see it.
It's in the public
private
chat.
Post it in the private. I can't click the links in the public chat because it gives you the option to show it on the screen. It doesn't let you actually click.
Yeah. All right, night, guys.
Later.
Bye, Helix.
All right, let's see. Let's have a look at this Home Depot handle.
Pretty.
Oh yeah, that's pretty good too. Yeah, so there's definitely some options for it. When he mentioned it too, I was like, man, I should really revisit that build because it was just kind of fun just taping together a cardboard box on an old case and it's so basic. I did want to go farther though and build that 2-way screen that they have, the transparent, except for it's not really a transparent screen. Both sides show the correct way around for the image. So it's actually like one screen and then another screen behind it that's been decased and is self-illuminating. So I would assume it's like kind of an OLED type thing, or maybe a projector onto a film. I don't know, but it'd be cool to have that the case with that crazy transparent screen from Cowboy Bebop.
I don't know which one you mean.
You don't know, or I can't hear you.
I do not know which one you mean.
I'll have to pull it up. Yeah.
Cowboy Bebop's just so damn good.
It is, and Netflix is currently trying to ruin it.
Well, that's what they do.
They've shot a live action version of it, and honestly, I hope it's the best thing that they've ever made. I just don't think it will be because of their history of Sometimes they strike gold, and sometimes not. Like that one, you have one movie on there, excellent cyberpunk movie. It's called Mute, and it's just phenomenal movie. It feels like it's in the same universe as Altered Carbon, but maybe like a few years earlier on, or in a more civilized part of the universe. Definitely got that Blade Runner feel, but better. It's not boring. I posted the
picture you
Yeah.
posted.
I'm looking at it.
Does the screen like fold into the computer? Like it looks like it would go down inside of it.
They never show that operational, but I think it just hinges
Right.
down. I think it just
Yeah.
folds back.
Correct. It hinges and then you will have one screen and you can see.
It's worth noting too that she builds multiple computers throughout the series. It gets upgraded and changed with time, so it's not always the exact same computer. Plus, there's a similar looking computer that is, I think it's Jet's computer in the series, and he has it like in the living room on the ship.
Okay.
So you're not always seeing the same one, and that changes with time. But I think it was on purpose to show that it was actually being worked on and updated over time, not just bad animation. Because obviously they didn't do bad animation in this.
Right.
Yeah.
It would be a very cool. But I still want to do the keyboard from that. I don't know if I'd want to do the whole thing, but the keyboard I think would be certainly doable. Just get like a little flat piece of aluminum, have it cut out.
Yeah, but it's like functionally, I guess it would just be having it like that, and then have like a second screen on the back like this.
You
And
can
then
just.
Right? That's all it functionally will be.
I hate these bags. You can just get yourself a old Russian terminal keyboard. It's already mounted on that plate. It's a real thing, and it's not even like that rare that you couldn't just find one on eBay.
Yeah, but it's fun to build it though.
Well, it is, but you could always find the thing. I don't actually know what's in these bags, so thought I'd just pop these open and have a look, see what showed up at my house today. Ooh, that's a fun one. Some holographic tape.
That's
Some kind of a. Yeah, I don't know exactly what it's for, but I can kind of tape it down flat on my what's it called, the Cameo 4, the vinyl cutter, and actually cut out stickers from this. And these are on 125-foot rolls. So you've got
Still
100.
waiting for that Cuppa sticker too, by the way. Just saying.
Oh yeah, that's right. I was gonna send you one.
Just saying.
I see myself blurry. Is the camera?
What in the hell is this?
You're a little blurry, but
I didn't buy this.
is your girlfriend?
No. This is something I ordered. These are battery holders for 18650s. This is a set of pins like you would use when you're tailoring clothing. Like pins you'd normally see in a pin cushion. That is bizarre. Well, no, it's in the bag with my name on it, and she doesn't have access to my account. So someone sent me a bag of pins in there. Man, they've been screwing up my orders perpetually, like to the point where customer service is like getting annoyed with me calling. They're like, we see that you've called 12 times this week. I think the last time I called, they said they were going to like actually file a report with the store, with the distribution, to figure out like why are these orders getting mixed up so much.
I rarely actually talk to them. I use the chat thing. I much rather if I kind of wait.
I like calling. They pick up right away and like actually very good. I rarely get someone that's just unpleasant to deal with.
Oh yeah, the chat the same. They just issue a refund just in case.
Yeah, just on like 2 orders, I got like over $150 worth of promotion credit because the order was like $400 and some odd dollars. It was a wheelchair for my mom, and they kept screwing things up. And I got like $150 free, and I bought myself a little bench power supply with it.
All right, so nothing's missing.
Hey, Tim.
This is just a freebie. They just added this
join
in. That's
You can do some acupuncture.
yeah, those are some thick needles. No, I have absolutely no use for that. I will just return that. I'm not a thief. I don't keep things that aren't mine. Turn off your vibrator.
That's a table. Almost done.
Sure it is.
Yep, that's it.
Did you just lower your chair or raise your table?
Raise the table.
Ah, nice. I have the manual version of that, which is this desk was actually supposed to be a standing desk, and I don't want to sit at all, ever. I don't like sitting. I think it's kind of bad for the back and stuff. I'd rather just stand up. But it's a little bit wiggly. I need to work on it, and so I did not extend it to the full standing height because I figured that the leverage on the legs would be to the point where it probably rip the screws right out that hold the legs on.
Tim, did you see what he said? It's probably me with the vibrator. Shame on you, Timothy.
Who is Timothy?
That's Tim from TH3D.
Ah, I didn't know he had a last name.
I sent you an invite link, Tim, if you want to join in. It's on Discord.
Now you have to. You've been invited. It would be rude not
called
to.
Called out.
Mm-hmm. And we know you're just sitting there playing with 3D printers right now and like reflowing return boards. Actually, Tim, I need to ask you about reflowing because I've never done SMD reflow work, and I've got a couple things I need to work on. Did anyone pop open Discord and remind everyone that we're still streaming?
No, well,
yeah, it is late, and I've got things to work on. I will mention that I ordered up a new 3D printer, the Elegoo Neptune 2. It's finally in stock. Finally in stock. My Elegoo rep has been promising that forever. They shipped them to Amazon almost a month ago, and it took them forever to get them listed up.
I mean to interrupt. Are we going to be on for another little bit? Tim was just wondering, otherwise he'll pop in quick.
Yeah, I mean, I'll stay in the chat for a few. Just hanging out anyway, nothing to do.
I'm used to typing standing up. This is kind of weird.
It is actually. It is a different thing. I'm used to it because I spent a lot of my early IT days working in data centers, and you're always standing at one of those terminals where you slide out the thing and flip it up. You got the keyboard and screen. It's like a giant laptop mounted. So you're always standing working at it. That's why I don't like sitting at a computer desk. It's not actually my preferred, or what I'm used to.
I mean, as a nurse, like we have those, they call them cows, those computers on wheels, that you always see.
Yeah, with the
the
medicine dispenser safe thing. Yeah.
And they've got the the little computer screen and the battery on the bottom and whatnot. I should be more used to it, but I mean, it's been a few years now, so. But
yeah, I know that feeling.
Yeah. Even then, nurses like to sit. We also like free food. Hey, there's Tim.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, what's up?
Hey, welcome on.
Hey.
Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, we can kind of hear you.
Sounds good.
Okay. I'm on my Galaxy, but I've got to go down to the basement. I'm trying to find my label maker. I'll show you a little project I did. Hang on, let me switch my camera. Where, I wish this would pipe my audio over my headset, but it's like on my speaker. Hang on, audio, camera. Oh God, camera one,
like
front facing. Camera two.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's looking very thick.
Oh.
Yeah. Pat.
Yeah, there's my little shithead.
Happy.
Hi, buddy.
Little trash panda.
We are 55 pounds already.
Wow. He's
Looks
growing
like-
quick.
Yeah.
Looks like dog meat.
Hey Google, turn on humidor lights. So I've got 2 humidors now,
Ooh. That's
and
cool.
this is the one I just built this
Are
one.
you
and I
keeping your
used some-
filament in there?
No, I have cigars in there.
How
Nice.
many do you
These are
have?
3D
My
printed
God.
though. These trays are 3D printed in a wood PLA.
Awesome.
Wow.
So
That's really
That's
and
excellent.
I have in the back here. You can see there's a little DHT22.
Yeah.
Very nice.
There's a 12-volt fan that runs all the time, circulating the air. There is another DHT22 at the bottom here. And then there's a Dallas sensor right here for the temperature of the air coming out of the vent. And then there's
Very
an
cool.
ESP8266 in the back running all this. And this is a Peltier cooler. So I can actually, I'm using an H-bridge to flip the polarity to provide heating and cooling. This is hard to do one-handed. Oh my God, get in the track. There we go. So
You
yeah,
have
it's
a
the
hard
same.
time finding the track, Tim.
I do. It's hard lining it up to get it in the hole. There we go. But yeah, these are printed. I did wood PLA because I wanted to be able to retain some moisture. You want to have like kind of a buffer of the humidity. I'm using these. These are 2-way humidification packs here.
Yeah, I'm
So-
quite familiar actually. My family had its own line of cigars for quite a while.
Yeah. So the reason I got a second one is the FDA is coming after flavored cigars, and the Acid brand, which is one of my favorite. They're not flavored, but they're infused, but they're classifying them as flavored. So I'm stocking up. All the cigars in here just came the other
Oh
day.
yeah, because you know those flavored cigars that the kids are just puffing away on those.
I know they're gonna buy
Right.
like these in a. I didn't pay full price for these, but these are like $15 each in like a cigar shop. I
Yeah.
got these on Cigar Big,
Exactly.
and they're also gonna kill off the
Are
ones
those
like
those
these.
are the Cuba, right?
Yeah, those are the Cuba Maduros. These are I haven't tried these, but these are an Irish cream coffee, and they're not flavored. The tobacco's cured in room with the beans, so it picks up the flavor.
Mm.
Oh, that's cool.
So, but this one up here was my first one, and this is actually a wine cooler that I converted. And I printed these trays on my Ender 5 Plus. It's enclosed so they don't warp, because when you're printing something this big and flat, it warps, even though it's PLA. But you can see here, this is my main one. I'm going to be moving some stuff out of here. This also has 3D printed trays, but I also have some cedar trays in here. But you can see how full this one is. So,
Got quite the collection.
yeah, I feel
Yeah,
like I
that's
collected
a-
one. I
that's a
haven't
nice
had
stash,
one
you
in
know?
a while. So I got all sorts of Cubas and Blondies.
All I
and-
can say about it is, really watch out for mold. You can ruin your whole collection
Oh, yeah.
in a week, in just a couple days.
So I have here, let me pull up my Home Assistant panel, because it wouldn't be a project that I did without it being connected to the smart home. So you can see there's
Now,
they drop.
Is that using one of the boards that you put custom firmware on?
Yeah, so this is using ESP Home for the firmware. So you see these are all my ESP Home devices. These are all devices I built myself. So I've got
That's
9 of them in
it's
operation.
Pool heater, not poop heater. Okay.
This is just a sensor for the gate now. The pool is gone. Since I'm on my phone, I can actually show you guys what I've been up to. So I actually have an assistant now, which is when my office is clean. He actually organized all of my film in here. Like, I can just open my drawers and see all my rolls. Like here's Pet G colored. All of my Pet G and
Speaking
stuff.
of filament, have any like Azure blue?
Huh? I don't know. Take your pick.
Probably that one in the left there. You remember when Tom
Like this
Sandlander
right here?
did his own custom color?
This
That
is
custom blue?
I think this is Sunlu PLA Plus. I got some Atomic in here. This is Coax, is their aqua blue. So,
What's
and
your
look
favorite
look how
one
good I
to?
am. They're all bagged with silica.
I stopped using Sunlu a few years ago because the rolls were just inconsistent.
Yeah,
Have they
this is
recovered?
random stuff. This some of these rolls are like 2 or 3 years old. This is not production filament. This is like my stash. So, but yeah, here's my messy print farm area. Yeah, here I'll show you what my backyard looks like. Oh, my project area, which is right here, is clean. My motion sensor should pick me up any
How's
second. There we go.
how's the movie theater coming along?
It's coming. I actually got to go down there. So like these are all printers that are waiting for me to work on. I got my tools here. This is where I keep all the bigger tools. I actually just got more Milwaukee battery packs in today. So I was pretty excited about that. I got a good deal on these.
Nice.
Also, this thing, if any of you guys have the Milwaukee stuff, $120. This is a shop vac that runs off the M18 batteries. Check that out.
Yeah, that's pretty
it's a
good.
little portable
I've got
shop
one
vac.
from
It's awesome.
DeWalt that does this similar to that.
I personally go all corded every single tool I have, just because I rarely do a job that I'm not, where I don't have shore power.
So it's a little dark out, but I got some lighting back
Only
here.
have that one corded.
So here's where my pool was. It's all sand right now. So
You just filled it in?
yeah, it's completely removed. We didn't just fill it in, like everything's gone. All the walls, the fiberglass.
Right,
We had a huge
'cause
excavator.
It would fill up with water if you had just filled it.
Yeah.
It wouldn't drain right.
We also put an egress window in the basement because there was no egress. So we cut into the foundation and there's an egress window now. I have a shipping container for extra storage. That's the 3D shop right there.
For that basement window, do you have a fine mesh grate on it so that you don't have animals falling down there?
We have.
Because that used to always be a problem in Colorado. We'd have bunnies just about every day. Baby bunnies would fall down there. We'd have to fish them out and send them back up. Oh, nice. Yeah.
This is strong enough for you to actually. This is strong enough for you to actually stand on. So, yeah. Hey, look, my phone light works while I'm streaming. Amazing.
That's actually pretty good.
So
technology is amazing.
We also, since everything's torn up, we trenched a new water line to the shop because the one that was out there was all fucked up. So, yeah, just a few projects going on, nothing big, And there's
got a little stir crazy being home, decided to remodel the whole place.
Yeah, there's both the idiots. Clara, do you guys want a treat? Come on. Can't even see Remo. He's so damn black. He's
put some reflective tape on him.
No, we were talking earlier about biohacking. You can, get him engineered to have.
Oh yeah, you could have that splice like they did to the pigs that glow in the dark.
Yeah. Well, since you didn't come, you don't get a treat. I was faking you out.
Oh.
Oh, come on. Go in your crate. I got to go downstairs. I got to find my label maker. Good boy. There's this crate. He's got his little bed in there. Yeah, I got to fix this. I got to replace a siren module for this thing. That was fun to try to figure out why the damn battery kept draining.
Your car has a siren?
It's for the alarm system.
Oh, I was going to be like, okay.
Hey, I just ordered up a LG Neptune 2. Have you had your hands on that yet?
You there, Tim?
Can you guys? Oh, I switched over to a different AP. I'm walking through the house. Hang on. Wait, where the hell is the?
Technical difficulties are expected on this show. They're actually mandatory. You're not allowed to have a perfect stream.
There you go. So.
Nice. Yeah. The theater is coming along.
Yeah, nice. I'm waiting on carpet. The projector's all covered up. So had to make some changes.
What'd you go with on the projector?
What's that?
What'd you end up going with for the projector? Curious.
I got a JVC DLA NX5. So, but yeah,
Should
so
be
this
nice
is
and bright.
what was that?
I was just saying, should be nice and bright. Those are powerful.
Yeah. So this is the rest of my messy ass basement. This is going to be Samantha's office. My dad and I just hung the lights in here today. So
looks like you have some space.
yeah.
Have you thought about doing a dedicated
there's
studio?
glitter in the paint. I don't know if you can see it.
No, because it's frozen.
That's pretty fancy there, Tim.
You're freeze framed. You need a couple extra APs
Where's
in
my
your
label
basement.
maker? Hang on.
So of course
Come on,
Samantha's
phone,
being
pick up the
banished to
access
the
point.
basement.
So is that your new assistant then?
She wants to be in the basement.
Oh,
Hang on,
okay.
I'm trying to find. I don't know why my phone is not transitioning over to the nearest AP. I should be okay. Yeah, I'm trying to. You know, it's down here somewhere. See all the shit I have down here?
Are you using
Way too
Ubiquiti
much shit down
system?
here. What's that?
Are you using Ubiquiti for your APs?
Oh, and he's gone. Okay.
Hardly
well,
known. And we've lost more
R.I.P.
viewers.
R.I.P. Tim.
Basement signal.
Yeah, I was wiring up a house recently, and we got the repeater and stuff, and it's just like we don't even need this. The Nighthawk router is so strong that there was no point. Nobody was switching over to the repeater because the repeater had a weaker signal downstairs next to you than the main unit upstairs. So it's kind of nice. It's kind of cool that everything has advanced to this point. Used to be you'd have to take your Linksys router, hack the firmware, crank up the wattage output, put a huge, high gain antenna on it, and you would still get shit range.
Yeah, I remember. I think my dad saw it on Tech TV where someone made like a little reflector.
Oh yeah.
Out of foil for their.
Yeah, those made it worse.
Yeah. Hey, there he is. I'll add him back. There he is.
Okay, sorry about that. The Samsung phone. I've got access points everywhere. There's one upstairs there. There's one in the wall there, and I don't know why it's not transitioning.
Your storage reminds me a lot of my storage.
Well, this was organized.
Every box is full of projects.
Yeah. Well, if you want to see some old shit here, look at this.
Ooh,
Is that?
it's an old hard drive.
That's an old SCSI.
This has got a stepper motor to move the heads. That's how old this is.
Wow.
This is like from an 8086. Here, this one's a 314 megabyte.
That should be on your wall behind you in your studio. That's a cool piece.
This actually works when it's plugged in. This is a Pentium 4 XP machine with a 6800 Ultra in it. A little shuttle computer, and I use this for doing retro games. It's a mechanical keyboard too.
Nice.
I'm trying to figure out where the hell I need my label maker, and it was down here. And it's like we've had people coming and going, working on shit. And you see, I've got my CRTs. So what
I was saying before you cut out was you have a lot of space down there. Are you going to make yourself a dedicated studio for streaming?
I'm gonna keep using my office. So there's my weight rack. Like this over here is gonna be like the workout area. We're putting in like a little kitchenette here. Here's the new egress window. This was not here. So yeah, we're just working on this. This is the new water line going to the shop. We just got to terminate that. So, but yeah, I'm trying to figure out where the hell my label maker is because I know it's down here. I wonder.
Let's just take this out of full screen here.
You see my rack that's hidden down here?
Nice.
Whoa, you got a nice rack there, Tim.
Oh, look at that. Oh, yeah.
Got enough hard drives?
No, I need more. These are two 4U 24 bay ones. There's my UDM Pro here. I actually just upgraded to a 2.5 gigabit per second modem. This is a 48 port USW Pro Unify switch. I got 10 gig between here and there, and then 10 gig between this one
You
and
have
the
a 2.5 gig connection at home?
So my connection is actually only 1200 down, but my other modem only had a 1 gig Ethernet port. This one has a 2.5.
I see. So you were being capped
Yeah,
at the
so-
one.
Yeah, here. So this is what I just put in.
DOCSIS 3.1, yeah.
Yeah, 2.5.
It's pretty amazing how much they can, send down old copper lines.
Here's my this is my little power mine. There's ESP32 in here. All the CT clamp connections. So
How many smart devices do you have running in your house now?
about 179. So a lot.
Wow.
This is for the door and window sensors. These took over the
Tim,
ones in the
I think
house.
you might have the most automated home automation system there is. Like, you might actually be like setting a record on it.
I doubt
Like,
that. I highly doubt that.
I think we need a full article about it because, like,
Oh god.
it could legitimately be the most complex home automation system there is.
Yeah. Oh, you want to see? So this is what I was using. This has a Verizon SIM card in it. This was my backup internet, and I just got this the other day. So this is a T-Mobile's 5G. I actually get about 150 down and 50 up with it. $60 a month.
Are you on their home internet service for that?
Yeah, they only have it for home.
Okay, nice.
I'm
So
trying
that's
to figure
actually
out where
what.
the hell.
So that's what I have for home internet. There's no other option where I live. But I've got their older modem, and it has random problems. I didn't know that the 5G modem was out yet. I'm gonna have to swap that out.
Yeah, this is our
'Cause,
backup.
I've been
We use
waiting for
Comcast
that.
for the primary.
Well, it's my primary. But I have their 4G modem.
Yeah.
Awesome.
There will be
That's good.
There'll be
I'm
more
gonna-
smart home. There'll be more smart home devices going in. I already have these throughout the house, but I've got more to put in the rooms down here, so I got 3 more of them.
I wonder what your house would look like if you could visualize all the, electromagnetic radiation from everything.
I got this. This is for the home theater. This is the Harmony Elite. So
What's the name of
I can't
that?
find those
Tim,
anymore.
do you remember the name of that? It's a network analyzer you use to create a map of your actual, of your network, but it kind of does it automated for you.
I think I know what you're talking about. I can't remember. My Unify.
Is that just like
Unify
Network
controller does it all.
NG or Shark, Wireshark, I think? But it
No,
wasn't
Wireshark's for
Wireshark.
packet capture.
Right, it wasn't Wireshark. It was one that you would use along with it.
See,
I
I've
don't
got.
remember. It was a great program though, and it could build out your network for you, and you would actually get that sort of like the movie graphic where the network is all these like wires and it's like on this globe thing.
So
and this-
Unify does that. The Unify controller that I have does all that for me. This is really bothering me because I need to make some labels, and my label maker is not down here.
You should just multicolor 3D print some.
Oh, that's way too much work. These little things are great. These screw into a regular light socket. They're like $20, and like
I guess here I can flex since my apartment is the size of any
I
of
have
the-
one of those in my room. They're for lighting up your garage, and they are awesome. $30, and it is the brightest light I've ever seen in my life.
yeah.
What were you
this
saying,
is-
MSG?
Oh yeah, here you go. You were asking about the projector. There you go.
that can do little flex. So given my apartment is the size of any of the rooms in your basement, for me finding the label maker, everything is within arm's reach because my apartment you can
Yeah. So
reach
here
with
I
your
got
arms.
all the wall plates and stuff for the home theater and shit in here. Basically, we started the project, and then the pool project took over, and so I had to put this on hold. But yeah, so this is coming together pretty well. I got puck lighting going in the ceiling, 2 Z-Wave dimmers going in the wall here, so this will be a zone of lighting over here, and there'll be a smaller zone of lighting over here, both on Z-Wave dimmers. That's what these two open spots are for. So I actually I cut open all this drywall and everything, put a bigger box in, because there's only a 1 gang box here, so I put a 3 gang in. We also have this. This is really weird. This came with the house. It's like this concrete room underneath our porch.
It's the forbidden zone.
I'll probably lose Wi-Fi if I step in here, but like,
that could be your safe house, like your your secret safe room.
Weird dungeon that you keep, disobedient employees in.
Yeah, I mean, we keep the only thing I had. There's just random shit in here and some shotgun shells and 9mm. There's not much here. Z-Wave lock is on here, but I mean, this is a metal door. Like, I don't know what they use this for, but it's down here. So, but here. So I pre-ran all my cables, got all my speaker lines. I got two HDMI drops going to the projector, all my network drops. There's all my speaker stuff. So there's a cabinet that's going here. These 4 outlets here, and this, you see this Romex sticking out here? This is going to an outlet in the ceiling that feeds a projector, so I can put the projector on a battery backup that's in the cabinet that's going up here.
That's excellent, because you don't want that thing powering off on you when the voltage, brown out or something.
So these 4 outlets here and these 2 down here are on 120 amp circuit. That's the only thing that's on them. The outlets on this side of the room here, these 3 walls, those are on 120 amp circuit. These here are on another 20 amp circuit. And then I've got up in the ceiling here, there's actually an outlet in the ceiling for when I'm going to do edge laying around the whole top. So I put power up there so I could do that.
So where's your popcorn machine going?
The room in the back should be for the concessions.
So
put a little split window door in it, and someone can stand back there and hand you candy and stuff.
So
you gotta have a popcorn maker.
I have a popcorn maker. It's in my garage. I'll show you it when I go back upstairs.
That's my favorite part about the basement theater.
Look at how much I had to how much wood I had to put up here just to hold this fucking projector. It's like 50 pounds. So, but the plan is we're gonna put like a wet bar right here.
Wait, isn't there a bar? Isn't there a pole in front of your projector?
Yeah, but you know what? It bends it around. It fills it perfectly. So we're gonna have seating on this side and like a curve, and then have like a walkway down the center and more seating on the other side. It fills this perfectly. I have it already aligned and everything focused.
Oh, that's excellent. So you have it skewed on the side then.
Yeah. The lens on this thing is nuts. I mean, it better be for what the damn thing costs. It was not cheap. So, but there's no actual lights in the ceiling here.
Do you already know what it's going to be the first movie to watch there?
I'm watching Tron.
Avatar.
I'm watching Tron Legacy for the first movie.
I mean, or Avatar, or The Fifth Element. Those are the go-to.
Yeah. So my wife will be happy.
Avatar sucks though.
So my wife will be happy because these speakers are going down there. These tower speakers are going down there. I got these nice big Polk towers here. I got 2 12-inch subwoofers. There's another one over there.
Well, let me know when you've finished it, because I'll invite myself over.
This is an older den. It's from 2016, but it's 4K and everything. So, but yeah, that'll all be going down there. I'm just gonna put a sound bar up here. So,
kitty cat.
Yeah, we have. Oh, there's 3 of the forecasts we have. There they are.
Herd of cats.
Yep, Archer and Cyril and Diesel, and Capone is hiding. So, yeah, there's a little. Oh, here's a tablet on the wall, running my Home Assistant panel.
That's very cool. Have you ever thought about compiling this into a how-to page, really in-depth?
Oh dear God! Do you know how much time that'd be? So you see how the lights came on automatically? There's PIR.
Yes.
PIR sensors on the ceiling.
I know how much effort that would be, but again, you might be the only one to do it. You know what I mean? you might be able to, put together a system, not just to have, just to throw it out there for anybody, but like, an actual like paid for service, like this is how you do it, buy my book kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a lot of tech in here. Like, that's my secondary switch on the network. There's a 24 port Ubiquity up there. This top, so there's 2 receivers here. This one's for the garage, and then this one's for the outside speakers. This is hooked up to a Chromecast audio, and this is from like the 90s, and it's in the switch is in the always on position. So when I start streaming music to the Chromecast audio for the backyard speakers, it turns a Wi-Fi plug on through Home Assistant to turn the amp on. So it does it automatically. So, and then I have a Logitech Harmony out here too. You see the IR blaster.
Yeah,
this receiver
you just gotta
is
be
so
careful.
old.
Like, you gotta be careful your AI doesn't turn on you.
Well, this receiver is so old. When you adjust the volume, this knob physically turns when you use the remote.
Well, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
You mean it jogs the dial electronically?
Yeah.
Yeah, those are pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get going here soon, guys. I don't know what happens if I leave
I'm hoping
the
this
stream.
switches over.
It's all good because I'm in as an admin account as well.
Okay, so I can leave studio and it'll be fine, right?
Yeah, if I wasn't in, that would probably kill it. Well, not really. Actually, it would just keep going until whatever the the cutoff time is, 8 hours. Someone has to.
I was just you guys ever watch AVE?
AVE? No.
Oh, you're missing out.
What's on it?
Anyway, I've got to get going, so
All right,
have a
later,
good night,
Blasto.
everyone.
Thank you for hosting tonight. Appreciate it.
Tim just disappeared again. Oh well, he'll be back.
Thanks
All right, cool.
for getting the stream started and everything.
No problem. It was cool having power for at least a little while.
All right.
Well, anytime you like. Later.
All right. Have
Go
a good
sleep
night.
off this power.
Hello.
You're back.
Hey.
I'm back. I got tired of putting the earbud in.
Yeah.
I'm back in the office. It should be a lot stabler.
God, STL.
Still got milk.
I think that's still in my shopping cart from like 6 months ago.
Oh god.
I forgot about that one.
Yeah, so that's what I've been working on. I was trying to find the label maker because this is my spreadsheet that I printed out for the current humidor.
I'm pretty happy with the one I got.
Oh dear God, I haven't
know,
seen one of those
right?
in ages.
Got off eBay,
You know
and the
what?
woman is like, I got it 25 years ago, and I never used it, and she's just like sent like a dozen rolls with it.
MSG, I was at Michael's Arts and Crafts the other day. They are selling an almost identical one of those manual label makers there.
Oh yeah.
I
Yeah,
remember
brand
my mom had one that was like purple. It was like a purple plastic. And I remember you'd have to like rotate it and.
Yeah.
I don't know. You know what? I'm wondering if somebody borrowed mine and took it out to the shop. Because I'm trying to remember the last
time you used it.
I could.
I'm trying to remember the last time I used it.
I made some of them for the systems in there.
That looks good on there.
It gives it that retro feel.
Yeah.
It does fit the build very well.
Oh, come here. Come here,
Speaking of
buddy.
retro, I've got a new keycap set coming for a ortholinear keyboard. It's pretty cool looking though. It's like it's all like Nintendo characters and this kind of big 8-bit font.
I have that one.
You do?
Yeah.
It was like $50 on Amazon. That's the huge. It's like 140 key set.
And some keys are cool. I'm not using it right now. I'll be back in a second. I'll probably
Nice.
bring the dog.
Yeah, mine gets delivered in a couple days.
He's such a vicious guard dog. Can you tell?
Yeah, it's funny. Like I've always had, almost always had Chihuahuas, and they are the best dog at alerting.
They just can't do anything if somebody comes in.
It's true, they can't. But no one's gonna get within 10 feet of my house without me knowing about it.
This is true.
And it's great because every time I get an Amazon package, I know that it's there because she tells me.
You just got a new dog recently, didn't you?
No. I've had her 5 years now.
Who am I thinking of? Who am I thinking of? Somebody got a new dog. It was a smaller dog.
MSG got one a few months back.
That might be what I'm thinking of because he was on last stream. Was on, I think.
Yeah, it was probably a puppy the last time.
Yeah,
a few times.
Yeah,
back.
that's what it was then. I'm gonna have to walk my ass out to the shop and get it because my plan was because Samantha, her mom's in town, so her and her mom, are doing their thing. So I was like, well, I'm gonna get my stuff wrapped up here, and I was gonna get some of these cigars and moved over to the other humidor. So.
Yeah, one of my family members purchased a cigar factory, and we had our own line going for a while.
Where was that? Where was that out of?
Florida.
Okay. Yeah, I know most of the cigar makers, they're in like Nicaragua and the Dominican Republic.
Right, and that's what it was. Basically, Dominican Republic imports. The people, not the cigars. They brought the rollers over to actually.
Yeah. I know what you mean. So they know. I mean, it's like an art.
Exactly, and that way you're not having to import them because they're actually being made here.
Yeah.
And they were just the best damn cigars ever. And it's funny. We had a massive batch of them that molded over. But we had the mold tested. It wasn't anything bad. It was just a nuisance, and we couldn't sell them anymore. So, but they tasted so damn good. Like when you actually let it mold properly and age it. It gives it the best flavor you can imagine.
I know there's certain types, and I know it's like a widely debated thing. I'm not like, I know what I like. I know how to take care of them. I do run my humidity a little bit lower just because of the humidors I have. Because I have a little wood humidor that's got pipe tobacco in it. Because I also have a pipe that I enjoy.
Yeah, our problem was the wood paneling that was used for the humidor room. It collected moisture behind the panels.
Oh, and it molded behind there?
Yeah, but it ended up being just excellent. When they were aged with that and that mold was dried out and cured and, I did enjoy this. I smoked way too many cigars for a few years there,
My wife was just like, when I told her, I was like, yeah, they have to be kept at the right humidity and the right temperature, or, they get moldy or they dry out or they get too soggy or, the cigar beetles hatch. And she's like, wait, what? The cigar beetles? I was like, yeah, there's eggs on the leaves because they don't use pesticides.
Right.
And basically every cigar has them on there, but if you keep it at the right temperature and the right humidity, they don't hatch.
Exactly. That's like when you have a bag of rice that sits too long.
Yeah.
And you'll have little beetles hatch out in it, and you'll be like, where did these bugs come from in this sealed container?
Yep.
But they were already there. You're eating them.
Yeah. Yeah, no, there was one of my buddies, he went on a trip, and his wife accidentally knocked his humidor open, and it was in his garage, and it got really hot, and they all they hatched and ate like $500 or $600 worth of cigars.
I wonder how much of the flavor, how much do they contribute to the flavor having those eggs on the leaf? It's part of it.
I would imagine it's probably not much because they're so small.
Yeah, but there's probably millions of them. That might even be the flavor profile.
I wonder how many. I wonder if somebody studied how many eggs are on a leaf.
And different regions that have different insect eggs on the leaf, and different flavors from it. I mean, there's stranger possibilities. Ants. You ever eat chocolate covered ants? The ants taste not. They taste like mint. They taste like the plants they eat.
Interesting. That is on my stuff. I haven't had the opportunity to try them, nor have I gone on my way to buy them. But I would try chocolate covered ants. At least
they're actually quite good. Surprisingly, shockingly good. You don't realize you're eating an insect. There's no essence of an insect. It just has a mint flavor. Minty crunch.
Speaking of insects, I I've been having some fun with the orders going out of here, and I've been stashing random plastic fake cockroaches in people's orders and product boxes, and the emails we've gotten from people are hilarious. They're hilarious. Like, one guy's wife opened the package and apparently like just started shrieking because she thought it was real, and he was like, yeah, I was laughing so hard I started crying. He's like, that was great. And then there's like people posting in the Discord server, they're like tagging, they're like, screw you, Tim, you got me. Like, I put them in like the outlet, the easy plug boxes, like their Wi-Fi plugs, like stash it in on the side of the plug, so you reach in there and there's like something else in there, and they look pretty damn realistic. Best $6 I've ever spent. I got 100 of them.
Do you have any on hand you could see?
They're in the shop.
That's right.
But it was like $6 for 100 of them. I was like, this is worth it. Even if one person makes a post, it's worth it. But we still have not distributed all of them. We've also been hiding them. Myself and the other staff have been hiding them throughout the shop, like buried underneath things. So as people are going through inventory, especially the back stock, we're gonna end up forgetting that they're there until you're dumping.
We used to do that at my old office in Colorado, because there's snakes everywhere in Colorado, right? So we started leaving rubber snakes around, like in people's desks and under their desk or by the outlets, anywhere they might find it randomly, where it would normally be. And rubber snakes, very convincing. Coiled up snakes, sleeping, like that's what they look like. Yeah, that was fun for a while. For a short time, it got old.
I thought about hiding some in like Samantha's underwear drawer. Just like.
But you do enjoy being married, right?
Gotta have fun though. I mean, how mad can she get? It's just a plastic roach.
But it depends. How freaked out does she get with the real ones?
She hates bugs. Absolutely hates bugs.
Yeah, then it's not a good idea.
Might be worth it. It might be worth it for the lulz. Do it for the lulz, man.
We'll know if you did it because we won't see you anymore. You'll have disappeared, Be like,
well, let this recording serve as a record.
Yeah. That's like, Jerry, the Jerry's printing channel. He's always talking on his wife, and it's like we're always worried his wife's just gonna kill him one day because he's always talking shit about her.
I can't really talk too much shit about Samantha, but I'm sure she could about me. Oh, I'm really trying to think of where the hell I put that label maker.
I bet you someone used it. Probably you. That's usually how it works.
I'm trying to think of the last thing I labeled with it and what that would have been.
The worst thing that gets me is when I'm looking for something and then I realize I lost it in a move 10 years ago and it doesn't exist anymore.
Oh, yeah, that happened with me when we moved here. I can't remember a specific item, but that's happened a couple times, and I'm like, come to think of it, I haven't seen that since we moved, so it's probably gone. Usually it's in my large test tools drawer here, and it is not, unless it got moved to to the.
Hey,
I got too much shit here.
Let me ask you a printing question.
Sure.
I just got some new TPU, and I haven't printed TPU in like 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
I've got that extruder on the machine now that you sell, and the textured plate, which is working awesome.
What tubing are you using though? Because are you on Bowden or are you on
Bowden, and I'm using a Capricorn.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say you need to have something with tighter tolerance. I mean, the key with
and I went with one of the stiffer TPUs. It's the 95s.
The 95 is not terrible to work with. The key with TPU is printing slower, like 20 millimeters a second. Start out there, and try to minimize your retractions.
Can you
turn
even have them on?
You can, but the more retractions you have, the more risk you run of issues happening. So here we go. This is what I love the plates for. You got to thing of a bunch of small parts. And just like that.
Yeah.
They're ready for harvesting.
Yeah, I'm loving this thing. I recently had to do some work on my extruder. The hot end had some trouble with a set screw stripping out and the whole thing falling out. It's like the CR10.
Oh, the heat break one?
Yeah. So, but actually turned out to be the fix was really easy. I just drilled a new hole in from the side of it and threaded in a new longer M3 bolt, and it holds.
Just fit into it.
Yeah, and I ground the end down a little so it have a little bit of a point to hold that notch.
MacGyvered it.
And now instead of it going in through 3 little threads of aluminum, it goes in through like 15 threads, and that's not coming out again.
Yeah,
it's such a bad design. You those things strip out. Like, why?
I've heard of them stripping out, but I've never actually had any strip out because I don't really mess. I can't remember the last time I changed a heat break on one of those style hot ends. It's been a while.
I was changing the nozzle was loose. I didn't tighten it while the thing was hot enough, so it came loose on me. So it leaked. So I was working on that, and it turned, and it just ripped right out.
I do have something that I got from one of my suppliers for smart home stuff. This is a PoE powered with a VESA mount bolt pattern Android tablet.
Oh.
So I can put this on the wall, just give it an Ethernet drop. It does have Wi-Fi, and it does have a 12 volt DC. It does have a 12 volt DC input on it. So, but this is
a commercial product.
This is for medical type field. This is actually an aluminum back and everything. It's really well built. I wish it was a little quicker, but for just running the Home Assistant panel, I think it'd be cool to have one of these in each room, so you just walk in the room and be like, okay, just boom, boom,
it's
boom,
a
boom,
outdated or a little underpowered.
It's one of those rock chip CPUs, so it's like the mid-range one. I got 2 of these. They have faster ones available that are more on par with the Qualcomm offerings. One of my suppliers, I was asking about it because I'm trying to get into more of the home automation stuff, and I was like, it'd be cool to have a dedicated instead of that other tablet in there is just an Amazon Fire tablet in a 3D printed case, and it's worked okay. But the nice thing is these don't have batteries in them, so you don't have to worry about the batteries getting, just absolutely obliterated and puffing up.
There's actually been a lot of installs. I've been asked to wall mount tablets, mostly for running Lutron. People hate having to open up the app on their phone.
Yep.
That and MusicCast.
Okay.
One person in particular had a MusicCast system in their house, and that thing was hell. It would lose Wi-Fi connection, and you'd have to get on a ladder and go press the freaking sync button on top of the thing up in the air.
I just bought the Magic Mirror from Waveshare, and it has the VESA mount. And then I bought a arm, and I have a shelf, so I want that arm upside down, holding it, and it's by the door, the Magic Mirror, and it's quite convenient that you're walking out, you get to see yourself.
Is it up and running? Do you have it going?
Yeah, I may be able to.
Can you go mobile and show us? Because I've actually was meaning to ask you.
I'd love to make a smart mirror type thing. That'd be fun.
Okay. Well, Waveshare sells one that's just ready.
Waveshare?
Yeah, they make all the best they make the best LCD screens you can get for Raspberry Pi projects.
Okay.
Everybody copies them. You want the legitimate from them because the knockoffs are just subpar.
So to go mobile, I just click on the link on the Discord.
Yeah, just rejoin from there, and I'll add you into the stream.
Let me tell
you. They have a mirror that's already set up?
Magic Mirror, yeah. It works off the Raspberry Pi, the CM3.
Right here, Magic Mirror, voice assistant. Is this a local voice assistant? No, it's like Google. Okay. Man, I want a self-hosted voice assistant so I can get rid of all of Google's crap.
Oh, no, the Magic Mirror is just an application. It's a Raspberry Pi with Raspbian, and it just basically has the Magic Mirror application, which is you can look Magic Mirror on GitHub. and then on the GitHub, you will be able to add any module you want. So probably you can swap the Google one for something else.
Yeah, are there
being
any
called out?
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, I've got a lot of other projects. Let me try to wrap up. Maybe next year. I'm thinking. This is pretty cool. Magic Mirror. So this has got a Google Assistant. I haven't looked into it. It's been a little bit since I looked, but there weren't many offerings of like a locally hosted voice assistant platform. But like, I would love to.
The problem is, there's a bunch of them. They all suck.
That's the thing. Like the Google stuff. I mean, when they put up with Google, potentially invading my privacy because their shit works.
I mean, that's the thing. It's like the reason Amazon and Google's system works is because they have a AI that is.
Oh no! Yep.
We'll just mute that one.
Yeah. Just mute me.
Pull his out of the broadcast. Yeah. Pull his desktop one out of the broadcast and put his mobile one up. There we go. Like I would love to have a locally hosted, even if I have to build like little Raspberry Pi boxes and place them in all the rooms, like I have in Google Home.
MSG, turn your phone sideways.
What do you mean sideways? Oh,
because you're in vertical. Yeah. If you can rotate it, we'll be able to see it better here. I think locally hosted. There are some Raspberry Pi projects for it. The main problem is you got to spend some time actually training in it, and you're better off using the Jetson, which has the AI module, the TensorFlow something or another on it. You want that AI coprocessor.
Yeah, this Magic Mirror is pretty cool. I'm looking at that.
I want one of those just in my bathroom. Replace the medicine cabinet mirror with it.
I was thinking about building one because I got some extra TVs laying around. We had TVs out in the shop and we just never used them. I've got like a 42-inch that's floating around, and then I got a 58-inch we're taking down. Like, can you imagine building a mirror with a 58-inch 4K TV behind it? That'd be freaking awesome.
For a while I had I did like the magic window. I wanted to have a.
Is it working?
Yeah, we can see you.
You're just sideways.
Yes.
Put it. He's on iPhone, I think. Is he on iPhone?
Then
you just try rotating your phone again.
There's the time and
you can't hear us.
And then there is a Google thing, and then gives you the New York Times headlines. But those
it looks really good.
But it's just a GitHub, and you can plug. Actually, it has a bunch of USB ports on the side, the other side.
Does it? I wonder if it has the option to run vertically. I don't like the landscape version of a mirror.
Yeah.
Putting a TV on your wall and then attach a Pi and connect that to one of those channels that does the live broadcast from the webcams that are all over the world.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
The views. I mean, I ran one of those in my apartment for a really long time, and it was just nice. You just walk in the room, turn it on, and
I'd want to put it behind like a two-way mirror. Like my thing would be like build it into the wall. I guess not build it. Actually, I probably
frame on it.
Like I was thinking about, I probably wouldn't build it into the wall. I'd probably build it so it's a one big box. You just hang it.
I don't know how good that was with the phone, but basically I put the mirror mounted on the arm, and it has all the ports. And actually, you can plug if you just plug a keyboard on the USB on the side, and you just do Alt F11 or whatever F11, it closes the Magic Mirror, and then it's just Raspbian, and that's it's
that's cool.
Yeah.
So when you plug in, it automatically closes the interface?
You just do Alt F11 because it's really just using it's just running this application on full screen, and F11 or Alt F11.
I'm wondering if like the way to do like an automation on the home would be just like a Raspberry powered screen, because they have they have the touch. They have one that's not like a mirror, but like you could run Android on a Raspberry Pi.
No.
No? Wait, what?
No,
I thought you could.
You can try and run Android on it. It is garbage. There's a lot of different reasons why it doesn't work right, but it's not really worth the effort putting into it.
That's disappointing.
It's kind of like when you hack your phone and you load one of those clean ROMs that like has no Google stuff.
Yeah,
and then everything's broken. It's the exact same problem.
Well, so I was actually impressed with these. These actually have Google services on them. There's actually not any bloatware from the manufacturer. These are they come from a Taiwanese.
Like you don't.
They come
want
from a
Twitter
Taiwanese company.
Like you don't want Twitter on your medical tablet. You know.
I can actually get these rooted from them too.
Oh, that's cool.
So I mean, but I haven't rooted an Android device in years now. Like I used to do also. I used to mess with all stuff custom
because there's no reason anymore. They've pretty much merged in every feature that all the custom ROMs have are just built into Android now.
Yep.
Almost like as if Google was paying attention and stole all of the cool ideas from like Clockwork Mod.
Yep.
You remember Clockwork Mod, right?
I used
to jailbreak my iPhone, and you will do things like have a clock app show the actual time with the needles. And then Apple just copied that. And then there's a bunch of things that I will add from the jailbreak.
Yeah, that's been in Android since day one. Remember, anything that Apple adds has been there since Android 1.0.
Like copy. Do you remember when iPhone users were getting excited because they got copy and paste? Do you remember that?
But I'm talking iPhone before there was Android.
Hey, they still don't have keyboards. They still don't have USB keyboard support.
Wait, really?
Here I'm confused. I'm talking like 2009. I don't even know there was Android.
So I'm gonna come out and say I actually used to own an iPhone. My last iPhone was a 4, and I had the issue. Do you remember the 4s where if you touched them in the right spot, the antennas were and they would drop the call? Yeah, that's when I went to Android because I went back to AT&T. They didn't have any cases, so I couldn't buy a case. Everywhere was out of stock online on cases.
Now, do you remember how they fixed that? They increased the wattage output on the chip, which then broke the FCC's laws and caused them other problems down the line.
Yeah, I ended up, I think I made the jump there. I went to an HTC Evo 4G with the WiMAX. Do you remember the 4G WiMAX that Sprint was pushing for a while? That's what and I've been on Android ever since. I just got this.
You know what? I'm not really a fan of the way Android does things nowadays. There's just too much. Yeah, it's just too much data collection. You know, every single app is just
alternative? I mean, like, I agree, but like, what is your alternative? You got Apple and Android. There's those Linux phones, but it's like banging your head against the wall trying to do basic crap on it.
Yeah, well, it depends what you want to do with it. Like,
what was it, the Pine phone? Did you see it? Like, I think.
Oh yeah, I've been following along with that one.
Yeah.
I wish the Pine 64 products were better. I understand that they make the hardware as cheap as they can, so that users can then.
They should make it premium. So
they are actually kind of expanding. But here's the thing. The company, it's not quite like the Pi Foundation, but they have this sort of open philosophy. I've talked to the guy who runs it, and basically the company that owns Pine 64, they are totally different. They like do software. They do industrial stuff. Making these boards is like a pet project from the guy who owns the company.
Yeah.
And he does it because he wants better boards. He wants better products released than what Raspberry Pi does. Like, he wants more powerful single board computers that people can hack, and does everything he can to release everything open. But they did run into one problem: is the black box. The 4G modem is a black box, and he did a whole post about the fact that he can't access it. They can't reverse engineer it. They can't break into it. He cannot guarantee what is in it, what firmware, what it does. But what they did was make a physical switch on the side of it that you can switch to turn.
Yeah, I saw that.
Not just turn it off; it disconnects the physical wire inside. Yeah. So, and that's very nice because there's literally like 2-3 phones on the planet that have that option. And yeah, you don't know what's in it. And let's say there isn't necessarily any firmware in it doing anything secret right now, but the ability to push new firmware with new features over the air.
Yeah, the carriers can do that. Yeah.
And they can do that on request by certain, companies, certain agencies.
My thing is like, and you see all the companies do it. Like, look at LG. I used to be a big proponent of LG phones. I really liked their phones for a while, and then they started like following everybody else. Like,
LG is gone.
Yeah, I know. But like, I stuck with them for a while. I was on HTC, and then I went over to LG. I had like four of their phones.
And they had some wacky designs. They had like the pre-curved phone so that it would fit in your pocket better.
Yeah,
but it was curved the wrong way. Our legs aren't curved like this going down.
But the thing is, like, do you think we're ever gonna get back to a point where we have removable batteries again? I mean, we're already fighting. Like, I totally forgot. I mean, I don't use it anymore, but I didn't even realize that there's no SD slot on the S21. They're getting rid of all of it. Like, there's no headphone jack. And I'm just sitting here going into kicking and screaming, and I'm like,
I think we are, because if you look
I want that back.
Look at some of the new laptops coming out. They're modular, which means that, we've reached the peak. These are as small, as thin, as nondescript as possible, right? Your phone.
I don't want small.
My phone is a screen.
Like, I want a chunky. I don't care if my phone is this thick. I want a big ass battery.
Here's how thick the phone is. Now, if I add 1 millimeter to the thickness of this phone, my battery can last twice as long.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
if I add 3 millimeters to it, it could be waterproof, twice as long battery, and have a better camera. You see the battery bumps now. They're starting to
look at the camera. Look at the camera bump.
Exactly.
This has a camera bump.
So why do that instead of just making the whole phone the same thickness?
Because someone got it in their head in the marketing department that the phones have to be thin and thin, and everybody wants thin. It's like, no, I want.
Well, it's like Apple.
Give me a brick. Give me a brick that I can kill somebody with.
It's like Apple laptops have to be lightweight. They got this thing. It has to be light. Does that just mean all of the Apple users are weak?
Yeah, I don't know. Well, here's the thing. Like, you know what I like?
2-pound laptop.
I just bought this for the company. Look at this thick boy.
And look, it has all of the ports on it.
Look at this.
And it's only, what, 5 millimeters thicker than an Apple Air?
I know. It's fantastic. This is a HP ProBook. We use HP. We do their business line stuff for the company. But, like, this looks nice. It's got all the ports.
Probably has a HDR screen on it.
It's a 1080p IPS. I mean, this one's actually a couple years old. I buy the off lease one, so this is
what, $350, $400 for it?
No, this one was $500. This is a 8th gen i5.
Okay, so it's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, and here's the thing: what I like about the HP, like, I don't like HP's consumer stuff. Their consumer stuff is garbage, but their enterprise stuff is actually pretty good. But their ProBooks and their EliteBooks, they have this. It's a docking station connector.
Nice.
So you can literally just put this on, press a button, boom. You can use it like a desktop.
Every ThinkPad I've ever owned, of course, has a docking station, and it is pretty nice. I wish the docking stations weren't so expensive. Nowadays, I just use a USB 3 to like everything multi-adapter.
Yeah.
Because it's
USB-C is doing a lot of stuff.
It's this big and it's got everything on it.
Yeah.
So it's a nice alternative.
I don't know if I think it's in the house. I've got a Lenovo 13-inch Ultrabook, and
one of the Yoga.
It's one of the I think it's a Yoga. No, it's not. It's not a 2-in-1. It's not a touchscreen. I don't like touchscreens on my computers.
You know what? I like them because they protect the screen really well, having the glass on it.
Oh, no, this one has a glass coating. It's just not.
The touch.
Yeah. But yeah, I think it's a 7th or 8th gen i7. But the thing was, like, it was really spec'd out, like 16 gigs of RAM, a terabyte NVMe drive, and it was like $900. And like, my buddy just bought, like, at the same time bought a MacBook Pro with similar specs, and he spent like $1,600 on it. I was like, like, dude. And like, my only gripe is that it doesn't have. It only has USB-C ports, so I do have to use a damn dongle. But it's got like 6 of them. Right. And 4 of those are Thunderbolt ports. So
yeah, and that's a nice touch. The funny thing about that is that machine, you can just run OS X on it and have a better experience.
Yeah, I mean, well, what's great is I can replace the battery, I can replace the SSD, I can upgrade the RAM.
My ThinkPad laptop, it has one battery that's internal and one that plugs in the back. I can hot swap the back battery without turning it off.
Yeah, I had
That
a
is
Dell.
such a
I had a
nice
Dell
feature.
back in the day that was like a thin one, and it had a battery that kind of stuck out the back a little bit, but it also had a dock that you slipped it on, and it had this is how old it was. It had a floppy drive bay and a CD-ROM bay and a second battery with a subwoofer and more ports on it. It would dock into the bottom of it, and it would like latch onto laptops, so you could pick it up and use it as one unit. But yeah, I mean, I don't like. I mean, certain things, yeah, let's make them small. But like, what's with this obsession with like the phones? They got to be so thin, and the laptops they got to be so thin. It's like, no,
I honestly, I think the population is getting weaker. People literally can't. They just can't carry a 3-pound laptop with them all day.
I carried around. Do you remember the Toshiba Cosmeo line of laptops? They had like red flames on the back.
I had
it was like a
Toshiba
gamer
Satellite, which was a 2-in-1 detachable keyboard, tablet.
Go lay down. Go.
That was a pretty cool machine. It actually got stolen out of my car.
I think it was called the Cosmeo, but it was a 17-inch laptop. It had dual graphics cards in it, a desktop processor. It weighed like 13 pounds. It had a subwoofer in the bottom and like 4 speakers. It was awesome, but it was huge. But I carried that around when I was in college, and I was like, it's got a ton of horsepower. You know, the power brick is like this freaking big.
If you bought one of those like Asus gamer laptops today, that's what they are. They're like 7 pounds. They have a desktop Core i9 in it, dedicated graphics.
Yeah.
In theory, upgradable graphics, but they never actually released the next version of it. You know,
but the whole thing with laptops, tablets, phones, like battery life. How do you get more battery life? You put a bigger battery in it. Like, I would.
Well, to be fair, the MacBook,
I want that. Like, I want that.
The MacBook Air, though, that thing can run for like 20 hours on battery.
Yeah, but then you have to buy an Apple, and I will not buy Apple. I can't. I don't care.
I'm just saying, though, they did manage to. Well, basically, the entire case is a battery with a. You know, this much of it is the motherboard inside.
I will not buy any Apple products. I don't care how good they actually are. And like their stuff looks nice. I'll give them that. Like the design looks nice. They look sleek. They look sexy. But just because of how anti-consumer they are with all the right to repair stuff, I will not touch them. I will not buy them. The same reason I won't buy a Tesla, because Tesla they've locked out people's cars that they've worked on themselves. They won't sell parts to them. You know, I refuse to buy them because I don't want to.
Yep, that's exactly why I don't have a Tesla either.
Yep, because I think they're awesome cars. I think, you know, electric cars are the future. As much as I love how, you know, a nice engine sounds with, you know, good exhaust and America and horsepower.
Oh, yeah, hey, I drive an 86 Pontiac Fiero GT.
You have a Fiero? I wanted to get one of those and put the 3800 V6 with the supercharger in there.
Yep.
Because those will fit in there.
Yep.
People put LSs in them, but the 3800 V6, it's still light. They're cheap. And like that motor in that car, like that's a lot of power for that little car.
Yeah. You know what's funny is the stock motor actually moves it good. The problem is that everyone has these blown out shitbox motors.
Is that the Iron Duke? Isn't that what it came with? The Iron Duke?
That's like the base model, the older years. No, this one is just a 2.8 liter V6, no supercharger, no turbo, nothing fun like that. But and I went with an automatic because I do a lot of city driving and I don't like shifting through the city.
I did the same thing when there's
a 70-pound weight penalty going for the automatic transmission, which is brutal, you know.
Yeah, I went with the automatic. I've got a HHR SS, which is a 2-liter turbo.
Tim, get a Fiero. It is the most fun car I've ever owned, and I have had rock crawlers and 4-wheelers and like.
Well, it's like a little freaking go-kart. They weigh nothing, and they don't rust. They won't. The panels and shit won't rust out because they're all fiberglass.
They also are the second.
They're cheap too.
They're the second safest car to ever be made during 1980 to 1990. They had the second highest rating, and a Volvo beat it out. That's it. So like no airbags, and this is one of the safest cars in the 80s that you can drive, which is still relatively very safe today. It's fun. You know what? I wouldn't say they're cheap. Mine, I've got about 12,000 in it right now.
Well, you can pick them up cheap. I've seen them pop up around here for like, you know, they run and drive. They're not in the best shape visually, but anywhere from like 2,000 to 3,000, you can pick them up around.
Well, right, and I got mine for 4, and I'm the second owner. It was garage kept. A older woman owned it. That was like her hot rod sports car in the 80s. Like you could tell she was like a, you know, like a hot chick in the 80s. You know, wearing leopard print and stuff. She still had the 80s poof, the 80s perm when I went and bought the car. Yeah.
That's funny.
And man, it is a beautiful car. And of course, there isn't a spot of rust on it because I'm in Arizona and it was here the whole time.
Yeah, up here, good luck.
You might have to ship one in, but dude, it's fun. It's one of the best cars, and it just feels good driving it. Like
I haven't driven one, but my thing was for a while I was looking to get one because I wanted to get one even if it didn't run, as long as the frame and everything was good, because I wanted to put the 3800 in there with the supercharger, because you can get those motors are cheap and the parts are readily available and they're pretty easy to swap in.
Yeah, you know, the motor in mine is just, it's in such good shape I can't rip it out.
Yeah, just leave it.
But the moment it dies, the plan is actually to do the GM crate electric motor conversion.
That'd be cool.
They take a Tesla battery, they split it into like 4 different cells, 4 different packs, and then depending on the range and weight capacity you want, all that, you know, and how much you want to spend. But most people go for half of a Tesla battery pack, and that's split in half, and so you have the weight distributed perfectly. The GM crate motor is pretty much a bolt-on motor. Very little has to be done to make it operate, and I mean the speed from it, the power you get from it is just mind-blowing.
So my plan right now is I've got that Mercedes wagon that I'm fixing. It's just that one module. Everything else is good on it. So I'm going to sell that, and then next month my buddy's supposed to be getting his Tesla, and he has he's got a 2015 Taurus SHO right now. And like those are going for over 20 something right now, and he was going to trade it in for like 13,000. And I told him, I was like, I'll give you 15 for it. And he's like, really? I was like, yeah, I've been wanting one of those. That was going to be my next car because it's all-wheel drive. It's a twin turbo V6 4-door sedan. Like they're like 360 something horse stock.
And you know, Ford Taurus has been a workhorse since they started making them. Like, the first year is still, it's such a sleeper too, because it's a Taurus. Like people are gonna look at it. Because my wife was like, "What does it look like?" I showed her a picture. She's like, "That you're getting excited about that?" I was like, "Yeah," because it's a all-wheel drive twin turbo V6. Right. It's safe. It'll be comfortable. It'll ride nice.
It's got the Ford Sync stuff there with the Android Auto and everything. And
you know, you can chip it so you can disable a lot of that safety equipment. So you can actually go drift that thing.
Well, and there's guys getting almost 400 horse out of those things with just a tune because they're so detuned. Like my HHR, I love that thing, but unless I put some money into it, I can't. I'm already at like 300 horse at the wheels is what it dynoed at. But I'm already running 20 pounds of boost on that, and if I want to go higher, I got to change the turbo. I'm running 20 pounds of boost. Are you
trying to crack your block?
It's all forged internals from the factory on it. It's a LNF motor. It's a 4-liter direct injected, or not a 4-liter, 2-liter 4-cylinder direct injected turbo. And it's got a Borg & Warner KO4 on there. I replaced the upper and lower boost sensors and did a tune. And yeah, it makes like 300 horse and 340 foot-pounds of torque in a Chevy HHR. So I got there's a limited slip differential in there too. So, sorry, the dog is like bringing his ball back over and over and over again. But it's a fun little car. But the thing is, like, if I wanted to go, like, if I want to get up like into 400 or 500 horsepower territory, I could do it, but I'm have to upgrade the internals further. And also change out the turbo. And
it sounds like you already have a nice setup. Like,
yeah, my plan. I mean, it's a 2010. I got 145,000 miles on it right now. And like I've been running 20 pounds of boost on that since like 22,000 miles. So you know, and I beat the crap out of it. So it's been a pretty reliable car. I just put a like probably about 6 months ago. I put a 7-inch Android Auto touchscreen in there and a 500-watt JL audio sub in the back.
Nice.
So I got my tunes, but yeah, the Mercedes is going to be what's going. I just gotta list that right now. Like used car prices are high, so I picked that up cheap, so I should probably be able to get more than what I paid for it. I did fix a bunch of stuff on it, but it was all like minor crap that was broken with it. Aside, the only major thing was that the heat didn't work, but I fixed that. So
Right, one second here, my dog is knocking at the door.
In the bed.
yeah, I'm gonna run off in here. I didn't realize it was already midnight.
Yeah, really.
Where are you located at, MSG?
Brooklyn.
Okay, that's why you said your apartment's small.
Yeah.
That'll do it.
Yep.
Come out to the country here in Indiana. You get a lot of house, even with the higher prices. You can get a lot of house for the money.
This little dog has recently learned how to knock, so when she wants in,
oh no. Yeah, he's like shoving this wet, disgusting tennis ball in my lap, and I'm like, I'm over.
Yeah,
it.
she has this one ball that she's obsessed with, and we've tried getting her other toys and stuff, and it's just this one, like she just carries it around with her everywhere, so it's kind of like, it's like her baby or something. It has this major attachment. When we come back for walks, like you come back from a walk, she just rockets through the house to go find the ball. Like she has, she's been away from it for too long.
That's funny.
It is.
I love dogs. Dogs are the best.
Yeah.
So I love my cats. Don't get me wrong. I love my cats, but
they don't love you is the problem.
No, and like we've had dogs. The only time I didn't have dogs was from 2012 to 2018 when they lived in a condo, and we couldn't have dogs in the condo. So we had the cats, but we got a house, and literally like 4 months after we got the house, we got Clara. So now we have 2 dogs and 4 cats. It's there's a lot of hair around here. The shepherds shed a lot, but I mean it doesn't bother me.
Yeah, I think there was a couple dog hairs in my order from you.
Well, they're not out of the shop, so. Well, actually, I take that back. We do bring them out in the shop, but they don't go around the packages. They just mooch food off people. It's funny because all the employees bring the dogs out, and like especially if they're eating lunch, they're like, "Oh, you're so good," and they sit there and they just wait, and they're like, "Okay, give me food now." He is obsessed with food. Like Clara likes food, like he lives for food. Like, yeah, you live for food.
Yeah, she lives for cheese, for little scraps of cheese.
Little scraps of cheese. Come on, up. Come on, can you jump in my lap?
Where's your dog hanging out? MSG's gotten bigger.
He's on my pillow. When I went to check the magic mirror, I saw her in the pillow. She's like, "Are you coming?"
How big is she now?
She's been 11 to 12 pounds, which the breed is supposed to be 16 to 20. The one we had before was 24, so it's a fatty. This one is literally half, even though both are the same breed. Yeah, it's
interesting.
Well, that's like this one. So this one is 7 pounds, close to 8 pounds. All of her siblings are 25 pounds, and they just tower over her, and she kind of freaks out being around them. But yeah, it's like somehow she ended up being less than half their size. We were expecting to have a much bigger dog. Oh,
Remo's like, is that a cat? Hey.
Well, guys, we're going on 3 hours here. So
I gotta get going. It's already midnight here.
We're gonna wrap it up. Thanks for jumping
fun hanging out.
Yeah, and
thanks for having me.
When you're bored, come hang out.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to, you got me on Discord. If you're having a stream, just shoot me a link. If I can jump in, I will. So.
Yep.
All right, guys. Well, you take it easy. It was fun hanging out.
Later.
Have fun with your projects.
Bye, everyone that's still watching in the chat. Thanks for hanging out with us. Later.